Chapter 157. From the private room they were in, they could see the arena directly. The private room was simple and unadorned. All the decorations were seaweed carvings and fish grass sculptures. The chairs were polished with various colored corals. There was even a spring in the corner of the room. The wall facing the arena had no windows. There was only a small fence and a large open space, which was convenient for watching the competition. At this moment, there were two fishing master teams fighting fiercely in the arena. Someone was pierced by the spear, but the other party did not kill him. At the same time, both teams had 5 main professions. One was a manipulator, while the other was a soul warrior. Han Fei was surprised. "What about those who fight here and get injured?" Zhang Xuanyu replied, "There is a special spirit gatherer for treatment. However, do you think spirit gatherers can heal other people's injuries? Don't you know how?" Han Fei raised his eyebrows. "Really? Why didn't I know about it?" Luo Xiaobai said lightly, "I chose a different direction. Didn't you choose water manipulation? Bite off more than you can chew. Healing skills also take time to learn." Han Fei immediately lost his composure. Old Jiang was too much. He didn't even teach him healing skills. What if he was injured? He still had to wait for someone to save him. "Don't be afraid. Your skin is thick. I can't pierce it." Han Fei chuckled. "Thank you. Since you're injured, shouldn't I heal you?" "No, I have to go back and learn that healing spell as well." Lu Renkuang was speechless. "Do you spirit gatherers learn everything you want to learn? As if learning doesn't take any time at all." Han Fei grunted. "If I told you that I became a spirit gatherer in 6 days, would you be so surprised that your eyes would pop out?" Soon, the battle below became one-sided. The manipulator was very agile, but his teammates couldn't handle the battle's soul master. After the field was cleared one by one, the manipulators couldn't fight at all. Zhang Xuanyu sighed. "Stupid! Can't we just get rid of the soul warrior on the other side first?" "Do you think he doesn't want to?" Just as everyone was talking, there was a knock on the door. Bao Jin came and said with a smile, "Students, are you ready?" Luo Xiaobai said, "Anytime." Bao Jin said, "All right, your opponents have arrived and are preparing. Please come with me. By the way, does your team have a name? Our lord, when the host is introducing you, he can give you some publicity." "Thug legend." Bao Jin? Zhang Xuanyu explained, "It's just a legend about a few thugs." Bao Jin's mouth twitched. "Legend with just a few of you? Let's win this round first." Luo Xiaobai naturally played the role of the captain. She looked at everyone and said, "Xiaochan, deal with the opponent's manipulator as soon as possible. Zhang Xuanyu, deal with the opponent's spirit gatherer. Lu Renkuang, deal with the soul warrior. Han Fei, if there is no accident, the opponent's hunter will choose you and me first. So, stay by my side and take care of the other party's hunters." Han Fei said casually, "We don't even know the opponent's formation. Will there be a double battle or double hunt?" Luo Xiaobai thought for a moment. "Then let's have a high degree of freedom in the first round. You can choose your own target, but you must defeat it quickly. We must show the Thug Academy's strength in the first round." Xia Xiaochan smiled happily. "No problem. As long as the opponent's manipulator and spirit gatherer are not as perverted as Han Fei, it will be easy." Lu Renkuang patted the armor box. "Then it's decided. I just need to block the opponent's soul warrior. That's easy." After a moment, in the arena, someone was shouting wildly, "Dear audience, your tickets today are really worth it. You have no idea what a miracle you have encountered. We, the legendary 4th Academy from the Blue Sea Town, have sent 5 students to participate in this promotion match." "What? 4th Academy? Aren't they farmers?" "Isn't that a plantation? Do they have students there?" "Where are the students from? Has the 4th Academy recruited students?" The host continued, "Like everyone else, I was shocked when I heard the news. But this is the truth. I have to tell you that this time the 4th Academy is a perfect combination of 5 people, including soul warrior, armorist, manipulator, spirit gatherer, and hunter. Where is the applause? Where are the cheers?" Clap, sparse applause sounded, but there was no cheers at all. even if they were a perfect combination. The host was a little embarrassed. But in this situation he could only bite the bullet and say, "What's even more incredible is that among these 5 teenagers, only one is a peak-level fishing master, and the other 4 are all junior great fishing masters. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? What you are about to see is a duel between great fishing masters. Let's welcome the team of the 4th Academy with warm applause. The Thug Legend. The 5 of them entered the arena, their faces full of confidence and pride. Zhang Xuanyu said to Han Fei, "The host is quite enthusiastic. Unfortunately, the introduction is too casual. Isn't he going to introduce the spiritual beasts?" Lu Renkuang whispered, "Spiritual beasts should be shown on the spot. If you introduce everything, people won't have a sense of expectation." Xia Xiaochan was very excited. "I'll go first. I'll kill the manipulator first." The host almost roared, "Now, let's welcome another team. They're already old acquaintances of ours. They once fought their way through the fishing master arena and overcame all obstacles along the way. They're the 3 Swordsmanship League. Will they be able to maintain their legend as a duo soul master duo? Let's welcome the 3 Swordsmanship League." Han Fei glanced at the host and said, "It's not easy to be a host. The whole audience depends on him." When Han Fei looked at Xia Xiaochan, he found that the girl was waving at the stands. Han Fei frowned. "Xia Xiaochan, what are you doing? Why are you waving? They don't even want to talk to us." Xia Xiaochan tilted her head. "Let me say hello to them and tell them that I'm going to kill them. Everyone?" On the stands, someone wondered, are the students of the 4th Academy good enough? How can such a beautiful girl become a great fishing master? Someone said disdainfully, without actual combat experience, their combat power must be greatly reduced. No, I bet I lose. Someone nodded. Maybe the 4th Academy deliberately piled up resources to make a name for themselves. However, they came to the wrong place. In the arena, everyone is an expert who fights with real swords and spears. On the field, on the opposite side was a woman and 4 men. The woman was a manipulator. In front of her was a burly man in heavy armor. He was an armorist. In the front, there were 2 soul warriors. And there was a thin man, holding a dagger. He was a hunter. Han Fei pursed his lips. "Look, I guessed it. The opposite side is a spirit gatherer." Xia Xiaochan smiled. "This kind of fast battle doesn't need a spirit gatherer at all." Han Fei paused. "So, I have to play the role of a soul warrior?" With that, Han Fei stepped on the ground and a spirit-gathering formation appeared. Zhang Xuanyu glared at Han Fei. "Shameless." The host shouted, "Wow! The spirit-gatherer of the Thug Legend has already started. Then I declare that the game officially begins." On the stands, someone was speechless. Is this spirit-gatherer a fool? He exposed himself at the beginning. Doesn't he know that the opponent has a hunter? Forget it. I thought it would be a wonderful battle. I didn't expect these students to be the kind of noobs who have no actual combat experience at all. On the field, Xia Xiaochan and the opponent's hunter disappeared at the same time. Zhang Xuanyu and Lu Renkuang glanced at each other. The 2 soul warriors each took one. In the blink of an eye, only Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai were left on the Thug Legend side. And in front of the opponent's manipulator, there was an armorist. In the stands, there was a burst of curses. "Thug my ass. Bullshit. They lost. The armorist didn't even protect the spirit gatherer and the manipulator. Is he courting death? Boring. I thought it would be very exciting." Even the host was speechless. What do I have to say about this battle? Are they a bunch of idiots? In the midst of the curses, suddenly everyone saw Han Fei move. The spirit gatherer suddenly took out a pair of knives and slashed at Han Fei. The speed was so fast that an arc of light was drawn in the air. Spinning blade. For a moment, sparks were splashing in the air. Han Fei grinned grimly, pulled the purple bamboo rod in his hand, and a figure was suddenly hit out by Han Fei from the invisible state. At this time, dozens of vines tied up the hunter in the blink of an eye. Han Fei walked on the wind. Spiral strike. There was a burst of dust. and the opponent's hunter was lying on the ground without even touching Han Fei. At this moment, he vomited blood and couldn't get up at all. In the stands, everyone was dumbfounded. The host was also dumbfounded. Aren't you a fucking spirit gatherer? Why did you deliberately step on a spirit gathering formation? Are you kidding us? You are obviously a fucking soul warrior. God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow UA Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 158. The host was the first to react and shouted at the sky, "Dear audience, you're not mistaken. This player turns out to be a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior. He's too strong. It only took him 1 second to defeat the hunter of the 3 Swordsmanship League." The audience was also crazy. No way. 2 professions? Is this kid a monster? How can he be so strong? It's over, it's over. I bet 100 mid-quality pearls on the 3 Swordsmanship League. Oh, it's too easy. Isn't it too easy for this fatty to beat people? Before the audience finished talking, the host exclaimed, "Oh no, the manipulator of the 3 Swordsmanship League has been killed." Over there, several shadows bypassed the opponent's armorist. Xia Xiaochan's shadow flashed, and the opponent's manipulator reacted quickly, wrapping himself in a large patch of seaweed in front of him. The audience was shocked to see that a big round hole was drilled out of the seaweed in an instant. Shadow stab. Shadow sting. She didn't give the opponent's manipulator time to react at all. A cold light flashed in the seaweed, and Xia Xiaochan appeared in front of the armorist, who was almost scared out of his wits. "I'll kill you." Clang, clang, clang. The armorist was surrounded by shields. The swords and knives flew out of the armor box, but they couldn't keep up with Xia Xiaochan's speed at all. At this moment, the seaweed behind the armorist had all disappeared. Everyone saw that the female manipulator had knelt on the ground, covering her lower abdomen. She raised her hand and seemed to want to help her teammates with seaweed. But the next moment, her body was entangled by vines. The host was shocked and ecstatic. Wow, what did we see? The beautiful hunter of the thug legend knocked down the opponent's manipulator in less than 1 second. Now, she is blocking the opponent's armorist head-on? The host was a little unsure. A hunter versus an armorist? But before the host finished his shock. On the other side, Lu Renkuang's armor box was opened, and his swords and knives flew out at the same time. The swords and knives flew in the air, shuttling back and forth like shadows. The 2 soul warriors tried their best to support him. However, Zhang Xuanyu suddenly shouted, "Blood chi burn." 7-layered waves in furious sea. Dang dang dang. Although Zhang Xuanyu was not yet a great fishing master, the battle effect of the 7-layered waves in furious sea was gorgeous and even cooler than Han Fei's spiral strike. Before this, they had never thought that a soul warrior and an armorist could cooperate like this. 2 warriors of the 3 Swordsmanship Alliance. The soul warrior was sent flying in the blink of an eye. Xia Xiaochan was still fighting with the opponent. However, the armorist found that he had fewer and fewer weapons. When he looked again, he found that his weapons were all entangled in the air by the vines. Shadow stab. Han Fei raised the purple bamboo rod and flicked it. "Let's go." Clang. The armorist was still in a daze when he was sent flying. When he flew out, he was still thinking that he had just taken out his armor box. How did he lose? The host gulped, not knowing what to say. The audience was silent. They were all dumbfounded. Someone said stupidly, "I just came in. I haven't even sat down yet. How is it over?" Roar. Thug legend? Thug legend? Thug legend. Crazy. The audience went crazy. At the beginning, many people were still cursing. However, before someone finished a sentence, the thug legend won. What the hell was this? Only then did the host react. Our thug legend won. It was so exciting. It only took 5 minutes and the battle was over. Everyone in the thug legend has excellent combat ability and skills. Let's cheer for them. Plus cheers. Clap, clap, clap. The host swallowed. I don't even know what to say. Damn, I didn't even see it clearly. I didn't even see what kind of combat skills you used, and it was over. Isn't this a slap in the face? In a private room, Bao Jin was dumbfounded. He rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath. The 4th Academy? Going to make a comeback? At this moment, Xia Xiaochan and the others were waving to the audience. Different from the way they waved when they came, this time they seemed very casual. Lu Renkuang was shouting, "We are the thug legend from the 4th Academy of the Blue Sea Town. The 4th Academy? The 4th Academy." The crazy spectators didn't care which academy you were from, they would shout whenever they saw you. Besides, many of the people present were students of the 3 academies. They were all stunned. No way. When did the 4th Academy have these students? Aren't they too strong? A group of people were crying. If I had known that the 4th Academy was so strong, I wouldn't have bet on them. I would never bet on them. At this moment, the others had returned to the lounge in the backfield. Bao Jin was already waiting here. Bao Jin looked incredulous. "Students, are you really great fishing masters?" Xia Xiaochan replied, "Of course. Although there are only 5 students in our Thug Academy, we can still compete with the 3 academies." Bao Jin sucked in a cold breath. He remembered the legend of the Blue Sea Arena, a legend about the 4th Academy. In history, the Thug Academy seemed to have swept the Blue Sea Arena. Could it be that this time, gulp? Zhang Xuanyu said lazily, "When can you arrange the next group of opponents for us?" Bao Jin bitterly smiled and said, "Fellow students, because your strength has exceeded our expectations, our arena needs to rearrange the candidates. If it's possible, please come back tomorrow." Han Fei scratched his belly. "Can't I play today?" Bao Jin was speechless. How was he supposed to fight today? "I have invited a few, but they are all mediocre teams. They didn't even last for 5 breaths. How would I dare to let the other teams go up? Even if I call them, they probably won't listen." As he spoke, he saw a group of people packing up their belongings and preparing to leave the arena. When they saw Bao Jin, they were speechless and said, "Old Bao, can you at least choose an opponent who is similar to us? You're sending us to our deaths." They also returned to the academy. It couldn't be helped. Today, they didn't arrange for a venue. There seemed to be no point in waiting there. At the same time, the 3 academies of the Blue Sea Town were seething first, followed by the people of the Blue Sea Town. The contents of this chapter are mobile update. Many people didn't believe it and asked, "There are still students in the 4th Academy?" The 3rd Academy. When Yi Nanfei heard the news, he immediately smiled bitterly. Sure enough, when Han Fei went to the 4th Academy, he already had a feeling. Was the 4th Academy going to make a comeback? The students who encountered Han Fei at that time all ran over at this moment, wanting to hear what Yi Nanfei had to say. Yi Nanfei said, "Tomorrow, go to the arena to watch their game. Maybe after watching it, you will know what kind of academy the 4th Academy is." The same was true of the other 2 academies. At this moment, the principals of the 1st and 2nd academies were meeting. Bai Kongyi finally found the heir of the Thug Academy. Alas, the thugs are finally going to make a comeback. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The tragedy of that year. I wonder if these little guys can reach the level of that year? If they can reach the level of that year, I'm afraid that this year's top 100 list will change. The god of fishing sighed. If you want to talk about fishing god with more like-minded people, follow You Read Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 159. The next day, when they arrived at the Blue Sea Arena, they found that it was already overcrowded. Countless people raised their tickets and rushed inside. Han Fei scratched his belly. Opening an arena is quite profitable, isn't it? Xia Xiaochan said helplessly, "I can't afford it." Lu Renkuang smacked his lips. "Isn't the hot pot restaurant of the Fish Dragons going to open in 2 days? When the time comes, we can also make money." Everyone looked at him in disdain. "Do you really want to make money? You want to eat for free, right?" Han Fei, Han Fei. Han Fei suddenly heard a familiar voice. He turned around, only to find that Xiaoyu, Wang Baiyu, Xia Wushuang and the others were all here. "Xiaoyu, why are you here?" He Xiaoyu ran over and looked at him up and down. Did you really go to the 4th Academy? When Xiangnen told me, I didn't believe him. In the end, you guys became famous yesterday. Famous? He Xiaoyu said excitedly, yes. Do you know that these people are all here to see the 4th Academy? Wang Baiyu smiled. I heard that you are all great fishing masters? Wang Baiyu's eyes flickered. Han Fei did have some big secrets. In the past, he felt that Han Fei's strength improved too fast. Now, when he was only an intermediate fishing master, Han Fei was already a great fishing master. Han Fei forced a smile and scratched his belly. If I'm not careful? At this time, Xia Shaochan popped up from behind and asked curiously, is this your friend? Zhang Xuanyu had already appeared in front of He Xiaoyu. Miss, I have something for you. He Xiaoyu looked at Zhang Xuanyu in a daze and blushed, thinking that this guy was too handsome. What? Zhang Xuanyu smiled and said, open your hands. He Xiaoyu opened her hands stupidly, only to see Zhang Xuanyu holding her hand. Do you want it? For a moment He Xiaoyu's face flushed. She was stunned for a while until Zhang Xuanyu was kicked away by Han Fei. Zhang Xuanyu said angrily, Fei Fei, don't go too far. Zhang Xuanyu, are you itching for a beating? Zhang Xuanyu walked behind Lu Renkuang. You don't understand. On one day it's a feeling called palpitating. Xia Shaochan glanced at Han Fei suspiciously. Han Fei, is he your lover? He Xiaoyu glared angrily. What kind of classmates are you? Han Fei frowned. It's an accident. Do you want to go in together? He Xiaoyu's eyes flickered. Can I? Han Fei chuckled. If these people are all here to see us, it should be possible. A private room. This was the service they enjoyed. At this moment, more than a dozen people were leaning against the window, looking at the arena that was filled to the brim. They were all a little shocked. Did these people all come to see them? Soon, Bao Jin appeared in the private room in person and said to them with a smile, Students, according to your needs, we have arranged the competition in the next 10 days. Today, we found 2 teams of great fishing masters. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. Of course, if you think it's too much, I can move the afternoon one to tomorrow. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, Not enough. Bao Jin? Bao Jin was dumbfounded. Not enough? Lu Renkuang said, 2 is too few. Call as many guilds as you can. We're in a hurry. Bao Jin? Everyone? What we mean is, even if your arena arranges 10 games a day, it'll be enough. 2 is too few. It's a waste of time. Bao Jin took a breath. Did the 4th Academy become so arrogant as soon as they came out? 10 games a day? As the person in charge of the arena, what he wanted was a steady stream. If Han Fei and the others came every day, he would have such a hot business every day. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, We won't leave until we win 100 games in a row. So, you can arrange as many as you can. Bao Jin shuddered. 100 games in a row? It turned out that the purpose of the 4th Academy was to win 100 games in a row? Yes, in the entire history of the Blue Sea Town, there had only been 2 100-game winning streaks. One of them was from the 4th Academy. Now, did they really want to make a comeback? He's just a junior great fishing master, isn't he? He Xiaoyu and the others were dumbfounded. What the hell was 100 games in a row? There were so many strong masters in this damn place. How could they win 100 games in a row? Win? But Bao Jin suddenly said seriously, Don't worry, I'll take care of it. If you really want to win 100 games in a row in the Blue Sea Arena before you leave, then I can guarantee that you will have at least dozens of games every day. Bao Jin left excitedly. When he walked out of the door, he clenched his fists hard. 100 games in a row. In history, the Blue Sea Arena's glory was because of those 200-game winning streaks. If he could win 100 games in a row again, the Blue Sea Arena would win a new glory. Bao Jin said to the waiter next to him, Immediately, call all the teams in the next few days. In addition, notify the entire Blue Sea Town and invite all great fishing master teams. Anyone who participates will get 1,000 mid-quality pearls. Anyone who wins the Thug Legend will get 10,000 mid-quality pearls. The waiter was stunned and Bao Jin roared, Come on. In the private room, Xiang Nan exclaimed, "Are you going to win 100 games in a row?" Wang Baiyu explained, "There have only been 2 times in history, and the last time was more than 30 years ago." Luo Xiaobai added, "Records exist to be broken. Let's go, it's about to start." Han Fei shrugged. She is the captain. She has the final say. Watching Han Fei and the others leave, Xiaoyu and the others looked strange. Xiao Wushuang looked at Wang Baiyu. "Do you think it's possible?" Wang Baiyu frowned. "Logically speaking, it's almost impossible. But let's wait and see." Qin Qing didn't think about this but asked, "Xiaoyu, did you find that the girl next to Han Fei just now is super beautiful?" Xiang Nan nodded. "I did." Jia Tong glanced at them. "She was there just now, so I didn't say it." Wang Baiyu smiled. "Yes, Xiaoyu, you have a competitor." Xiaoyu asked, "Oh, what are you talking about? Watch the game." With that, she turned her head away. In his heart, he thought that the girl was really pretty. Even she couldn't help but want to look at her more. Did they fall in love at such a young age? Xiaoyu shook her head. "No, Han Fei is so fat. No one will like him." Inside the arena, the host was roaring, "Today, I see from your enthusiasm that you attach great importance to today's game. Yesterday, the Thug Legend defeated the 3 Swordsmanship League. Yesterday, the Thug Legend defeated the 3 Swordsmanship League. Today, will the legend continue? Let's welcome the first team we invited today, the Deep Sea Wild Wolves." It's worth mentioning that the captain of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves has a powerful deep sea wolf fish spiritual beast. They once dominated the level 2 fishery and won 7 battles. Wow, come on. You must hold on for 5 minutes. Brother, if you don't want to die, use your ultimate move as soon as the game starts. After the 5-member team of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves came out, the whole team was in a bad mood. What are they shouting for? Is it certain that we will be defeated? Can we be compared to a rubbish team like the 3 Swordsmanship League? On the other side, Luo Xiaobai was analyzing. Captain Lin Lang is a hunter and the owner of the Deep Sea Wild Wolf's spiritual beast. This is an all-hunter team, all of them. Xia Xiaochan nodded. "Leave that Lin Lang to me." "Yes, Lin Lang will be yours. Han Fei, Luren Kuang, Zhang Xuanyu, stay with me. I'll control the field and tell you their positions. Try to kill them with 1 blow." On the field, when Han Fei and the others came out, the audience was boiling. Thug Legend, let's look forward to their performance today. The game starts. In the auditorium, at least hundreds of people from the 3 academies were watching. At this moment, none of them spoke. They needed to watch a game to judge the strength of the Thug Legend. "Fuse." Both sides shouted "Fuse," but only Han Fei shouted "Attach." However, his voice was drowned in the waves of sound and no one heard it. The 5 opponents all disappeared from the field. Xia Xiaochan disappeared at the same time. With Luo Xiaobai as the center, thousands of vines ran through the ground. In a few seconds, the area within 100 meters was covered by dense vines. Clang, clang, clang. Somewhere on the battlefield, Xia Xiaochan seemed to have fought with Lin Lang. There was only knife light in the air, but no figure. Suddenly, Luo Xiaobai said, 18 meters to the left. Lu Renkuang immediately patted his armor box, and a torrent of weapons poured out, like a long dragon, 16 meters to the left in the air. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Spirit Strike. 7-layered waves, Luo Xiaobai said, Han Fei, 12 meters to the right, 8 meters behind you. If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 160. As soon as Luo Xiaobai's voice fell, the 2 knives behind Han Fei flew out. Then a surprising scene appeared. Han Fei didn't move but took out his fishing rod. With a wave of the hook moved like a slithering snake, instantly shooting out violently. Instant hook. At the moment when Han Fei's hook shot out, hundreds of vines on the right side of Luo Xiaobai suddenly rose. Spirit absorption. Spiral strike. Han Fei jumped back, and a fat man stepped on the air and attacked with his rod like a spiral. A figure was sent flying with blood spurting out, fell to the ground, and was tied up tightly. On the other side, the vines were broken, but the hunter was completely exposed to everyone. Even though the vines were chopped up crazily, the hunter was still pulled to Han Fei's side. Crook ejection, fell. Without giving the hunter a chance to escape, Han Fei hit the ground with his rod. On the other side, the hunter that Zhang Xuanyu faced was the most unlucky. At that moment, he felt that his mind was blank. When he came to his senses, the rod had hit him like a raging wave. He was hit 7 times in a row, and before he could react, he was knocked out. In contrast, Lu Renkuang's opponent was slightly better. Hunters were best known for their explosive power and speed. Although he was covered in cuts and bruises, at least he managed to escape. But just after he ran away, Captain Lin Lang fell from the sky, lying on the ground and groaning. The host wanted to vomit blood. How can I explain this? All of them can be invisible. He hadn't even had the chance to shout, and the battle had already ended? The audience was silent. The students of the other 3 academies who came to watch the battle were shocked. Was this the 4th academy that they looked down upon? Was this the strength of the perfect team? In the private room, Xia Wushuang swallowed. They seemed to be a bit strong. Xiang Nan's eyes widened. More than a bit strong. I feel that hunters can't fight back at all in front of them. Qin Qing took a breath. That beautiful girl killed the captain of the deep-sea wild wolves in less than 3 minutes? I didn't even see her appear. As soon as she appeared, she had already won. He Xiaoyu patted her chest. She took a deep breath. This battle had already surpassed his understanding. In the auditorium, a student from the 1st Academy said, "Very strong." It was not that the deep-sea wild wolves were weak in terms of teamwork or individual combat power. It was just that their position was exposed as soon as they moved. In addition, the captain of the Thug Legend is a manipulator, and his perception is extremely strong. They have nowhere to hide. A student from the 2nd Academy said, "No, we have to tell the big shots in our school. We can't let the 4th Academy go on like this. Otherwise, in less than 3 days, the name of the 4th Academy will stand out in the Blue Sea town." Yi Nanfei from the 3rd Academy also came to watch the game. He said calmly to the students beside him, "Did you see that? This was the advantage of a perfect combination. The spirit gatherer hasn't even appeared yet, and a manipulator has already dominated the field." The student swallowed his saliva after hearing this. The people who had fought with Han Fei all took a deep breath. The agility and strength of this manipulator was truly an eye-opener for them. There were still a few people in the audience, but they were the 5 people from the 3 Saber Sword Alliance. At this moment, a big man touched his head and said, Fortunately. I thought that this team would be difficult to deal with, but in the end, they were wiped out in 6 breaths. Their performance is no better than ours." The female captain slapped him on the head. "Bullshit. Is it something to be proud of to be wiped out by a group of children? It's just that the deep-sea wild wolves were completely defeated." The host shouted, "They won." The Thug Legend continued to fight a legendary battle. 6 breaths. Dear friends in the audience, this is an astonishing number. Let's shout and applaud for the Thug Legend. Thug Legend. Thug Legend. The arena with more than 50,000 people was already boiling at this moment. Although they didn't see anything clearly, the deep-sea wild wolves were killed in the blink of an eye. This also proved the strength of the 4th Academy. When they all returned to Luo Xiaobai's side, they didn't go backstage to rest. Instead, Luo Xiaobai looked at the host and said, "Can we start the next game now?" The host was taken aback. "Are you sure you don't need to rest?" Luo Xiaobai replied, "No." Someone in the audience shouted, "Why do we need to rest?" Before our butts warmed up, the opposite side died. How much energy can we consume? Let's start the next game. Next game. With the rising and falling voices of the audience, the host stood up and put one foot on the table. Let's welcome the second team. They once broke a 10-game winning streak in the arena. Among them, there is a manipulator, a spirit gatherer, and 3 soul warriors. Facing such a team, how can the Thug Legend win? Let's wait and see. Now, Let's welcome the Armor Frenzy team. Han Fei smiled. Kwang, let's fight. Lu Renquang wondered, are you coming now? Han Fei said indifferently, we are going to win 100 games in a row. Sooner or later. Lu Renquang sighed. But I feel that after winning 100 games in a row, I can lose at least 50 kilograms. Han Fei sighed. Lose weight? I can't let Zhang Xuanyu be the only winner. The host announced, the game starts. Fuse. Before the other side fused, the audience only saw Han Fei and Lu Renquang running to the opposite side like fools. Hey, what are they doing? Are they going to fight 2 against 5? The manipulator just now is so smart. Now these two are not convinced. Are they going to fight 2 against 5? The eyes of the 3 soul warriors lit up. What do you mean? One-on-one? Do you think we are those hunters who only have explosive power? Sprint. Suddenly, Han Fei and Lu Renquang sped up. Their speed was comparable to that of a hunter. Scar of War Shadows. Violent War Body. The 2 fatties, like barbaric behemoths, directly collided head-on. Unfortunately, there was no armorist on the opposite side. Even if there was an armorist, so what? The obligation of a soul warrior was to stand on the front line and stop all enemies. If they ran away, their manipulator and spirit gatherer would be killed. The smoke and dust billowed, and the 2 figures on the opposite side flew out like arrows from the bowstring. The remaining soul warrior was speechless and shouted, come on, control these 2 fatties. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. Hey, it's me you should be careful of. 7-layered waves in furious sea. Xia Shaochan suddenly appeared next to the opposing spirit gatherer. Who said I would fight the manipulator? The next moment, 5 opponents. Of the 5 people, 3 were directly disabled. One of them fought with Zhang Xuanyu, causing dust to fly. The remaining manipulator probably had 10,000 iron-head fish galloping in his heart. I haven't used my combat skills yet and 3 of my teammates have already been defeated. In the face of these 2 fatties and a hunter, how could I fight? In the end, the manipulator wrapped himself up. Unfortunately, Xia Shaochan directly passed through the 3 Swordsmanship League's defense. In less than a second, the manipulator was defeated. The remaining soul warrior directly gave up. Kaiyuan. The host? The host felt that he was about to lose his job. What happened to this competition? How could this be called a competition? This was a one-sided dazzling skill, okay? Thug legend, thug legend. The cheers of the audience came wave after wave. Although the battle seemed very simple, the opponents won 2 consecutive battles. The opponents had no power to fight back at all. Luo Xiaobai looked at the host. Next game. As a result, 1 game, 2 games, 5 games. In the following battle, only a team of double armorists lasted for 5 minutes. The other teams all finished the battle within 5 minutes. Outside the Blue Sea Arena, the staff kept shouting, "Stop placing bets today, stop placing bets." Someone said angrily, "Why should we stop? The odds of the thug legend are very low." The staff thought to himself, if the odds are low, won't we lose? These thugs are too fucking ferocious. We found 10 teams but none of them can defeat them. The 10th game. Han Fei set up a spirit gathering array under his feet and poured spiritual energy directly into the bodies of his 4 teammates. After a while, they were full of energy. Luo Xiaobai said, "Next game." However, only one of the opponents came out. As soon as he arrived on the field, he said to the host, "We admit defeat," and then turned around and left. Lu Renquang asked, 10 consecutive victories? The others? Outside the arena, Bao Jin was speechless and said to his men beside him, "Replace all the teams that will play in 3 days with intermediate great fishing masters. Junior great fishing masters are no match for them at all." If you want to talk about fishing god with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat. Read 2. Chapter 161. When they returned to the private room, He Xiaoyu and the others looked at them as if they were monsters. Especially Xia Shaochan and Luo Xiaobai. It could be said that Xia Shaochan defeated the captains of all the teams, Luo Xiaobai controlled all the people she could control, and the three of them just fought. He Xiaoyu suddenly asked, "Do you want to eat hot pot?" Lu Renkuang's eyes lit up. Yes. Sister, you know me." Zhang Xuanyu slapped Lu Renkuang away. "Girl, why don't you come to our school for dinner? There are mountains, rivers, and forests there. Eating hot pot is a kind of enjoyment." He Xiaoyu took a step back. "Forget it." Han Fei frowned. "Enough, you two." The fish dragons had begun to acquire the major shops on the floating island. Right now, the hot pot restaurant is being renovated. Let's eat there. At this moment, Bao Jin came to inform them, "Students, your next competition might have to wait for 3 days." Luo Xiaobai frowned. "Why so long?" Bao Jin wiped his sweat. "After all, it's not easy to find a team. The few of you won too easily, and there was no challenge, right? In these 3 days, we will try our best to find those outstanding teams to ensure that everyone's trip will not be in vain." Lu Renkuang muttered, "Fine. The sooner we finish the fight, the sooner we can get the second brocade pouch." Luo Xiaobai snapped, "Shut up." Lu Renkuang knew that he had said something wrong and quickly shut up. But the speaker didn't mean anything, while the listener had his own thoughts. Bao Jin and Wang Baiyu were both wondering what the second brocade sachet meant. According to Bao Jin's understanding, Han Fei and the others were playing the 100-game winning streak just to complete a task. Once the mission was over, they wouldn't be able to come back. Wang Baiyu thought that they were doing what was in the first brocade sachet. But the first brocade pouch was already so difficult. What about the second one? Well, could there be a third one? Was there any secret in the fourth academy? Outside the Blue Sea Arena, they were surrounded as soon as they came out. Thug legend, thug legend. The crowd was excited. Many people raised their hands and cheered. Some people crowded around him. Of course, they didn't come for Han Fei and Lu Renkuang. "Xiaoshangin, I like you. Luo Xiaobai, I like you. Brother Yu, I like you so much. Brother Yu, do you like puppy love? I canto accompany you. Brother Yu, I'm willing to go into the sea with you." Han Fei and Lu Renkuang were dumbfounded. What's going on? Why did so many fans suddenly appear? Xia Xiaochan and Luo Xiaobai didn't have as many fans as they expected. Among them, Luo Xiaobai had the fewest admirers, because she was too cold. However, Zhang Xuanyu was different. Everyone in the crowd called him Brother Yu, which gave everyone goosebumps. However, Zhang Xuanyu didn't know that and waved at everyone with a smile. "Han Fei, will you be my boyfriend?" Han Fei looked at the source of the sound, and his face turned green. What did a girl who was fatter than an ironhead fish mean? Han Fei immediately pushed Lu Renkuang forward and shouted, "I'm already in love." "No, he's looking for a girlfriend." "Lu Renkuang?" Lu Renkuang was horrified. Although he was fat, it didn't mean that he liked fat people. Xia Xiaochan's face turned green. "I'm in love too. I'm already in love with Han Fei. Go away." "Han Fei?" Xia Xiaochan glanced at the happy Zhang Xuanyu and the frightened Lu Renkuang and whispered to Han Fei, "I can't say that I'm in love with Xiaobai, can I?" Pu, Xiang Nan, who was behind Han Fei, almost knelt down on the spot. "Xia Xiaochan, how could such a beautiful girl fall in love with Han Fei? Did she like fat men?" Jia Tong's eyes were blank. No love. I seem to see the picture of a spirit swallowing fish and an ironhead fish together. It's too beautiful to imagine. Wang Baiyu, He Xiaoyu's eyes widened and she pouted, completely dumbfounded. Han Fei was also dumbfounded. "Didn't you just want money? But when did I agree to it?" Below, a group of people were howling and scolding Han Fei. "Damn fatty, do you think you deserve a girlfriend? Damn fatty, I'm going to kill you. Yes, I want to duel with you." Among all the people, only Zhang Xuanyu was happy. He walked into the crowd, and some people even took the initiative to throw themselves into his arms. More importantly, this guy also hugged Zhang Xuanyu looked satisfied. "Ha, don't get excited. We're going to the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant. Anyone want to go to the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant? Let's go together. Brother Yu, I want to sit at the same table with you. Brother Yu, I can help you get food." Brother Yu, I can help you pay the bill. Han Fei and the others. The Fish Dragon Hot Pot Restaurant. Li Gang was directing the renovation. Hurry up, hang up the sign. We'll be open for business from tomorrow onwards. Have you stocked up? Hurry up and put them away. Are the seasonings ready? From tomorrow onwards, we'll offer a 50% discount. There must be a lot of customers. You guys, go to the other shops to inspect them. Have you done it? 10 shops. None of them can be missing. All of them will be open at half price tomorrow. Suddenly someone said, Brother Gang, look, what are you looking at? Get to work. No, Brother Gang, it seems that someone is looking for trouble. Li Gang, huh? Li Gang looked back and his face turned green. How many people were there in such a majestic manner? Thousands of people? Li Gang broke out in a cold sweat. Hurry up, everyone run. No, we can't run away. Remember to cover your head when you are beaten later. Let's go and ask for help. But then Li Gang found something wrong. Why did he seem to see Zhang Xuanyu? This guy was surrounded by a group of girls and pushed forward. Li Gang swallowed. Wait a minute, something seems wrong. When Zhang Xuanyu saw Li Gang, he immediately waved. Uncle Gang, prepare the hot pot. We have guests. Li Gang? The members of the Fish Dragons? They were dumbfounded. We haven't even opened for business yet and we're already so famous? Li Gang shivered and shouted at the crowd, Move! Open the door and welcome the guests. Open the door ahead of time. Han Fei jumped up from behind the crowd. Save the private room, my private room. Seeing Han Fei behind the crowd, Li Gang immediately rushed upstairs. After a moment, in the end, Li Gang failed to keep his private room and it was directly occupied by someone else. He tried his best but could only keep a table in the hall. So, Li Gang said with a sad face, Young master, I'm incompetent. I failed to keep your exclusive private room. Han Fei patted him on the shoulder helplessly. I know you have tried your best. By the way, give each guest here 2 fish dragon cards. Li Gang's eyes lit up. Yes, young master. Xia Xiaochan asked curiously, what are fish dragon cards? Han Fei smiled mysteriously. You'll know in a moment. Originally, when everyone gathered together, some people outside who couldn't come in left helplessly, and some people were still waiting foolishly outside. Many people wanted to come over and strike up a conversation. Han Fei stood up and suddenly had an idea. Everyone, be quiet and listen to me, someone muttered. Who wants to listen to you? You're not a girl. However, 2 fish dragon cards suddenly appeared in Han Fei's hand. He said, You may not know this, but the bosses behind this Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant are the 5 members of the Thug Legend. Since you're here today, we'll give you a 50% discount. Wow, your restaurant. This chapter is edited by Update. Isn't the 4th Academy so poor that you can't even afford to eat? So you tricked us into coming here to eat? Han Fei shouted, Calm down, be quiet. Everyone listen to me. Today, not only will there be a 50% discount, but there will also be a 50% discount. As the big boss behind the scenes, I've prepared some gifts for you. Gang Z, give us the Fish Dragon cards. Dozens of members of the Fish Dragons picked up the frames and gave away the cards one by one. What's this? Isn't this the scale of a green turtle? Huh? Interesting. There are patterns of blade fish and tentacle lobsters on this scale. It's quite realistic. This carving technique is good. Han Fei, what's this thing for? Yes, I don't understand it. Why are there numbers on it? And there are so many repetitions. Han Fei smiled. Don't worry, everyone. Let me show you how Gang Z makes a card game. As Han Fei explained the rules, he asked Li Gang and the others to move a small table and play cards. After a while, someone learned how to play. Someone murmured, Interesting. It seems to be fun. Someone shouted, Does anyone want to play at the table? Let's join the table? Let's go. If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow You Read Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 162. When it came to playing cards, once you got into it, you couldn't stop. In just a moment, The entire hot pot restaurant was filled with killing. 3 and 2, 3 small white fish and 2 small white shrimps. 3 big yellow croakers and 2 small white shrimps. Squashed. 3 blade fish and 2 green turtles. Bomb, 4 tentacle lobsters. Hurry up! My stomach is growling. Han Fei was very satisfied with his sales pitch. But when he returned to his table, Xia Xiaochan and the others had already started fighting. Han Fei glanced at the bad cards that Xia Xiaochan had, and the best one was the snake belt. Where is Zhang Xuanyu? Xia Xiaochan pursed her lips. Up there. Following Xia Xiaochan's hand, she found that the boy was sitting at a table with a group of little girls. At this moment, he was surrounded by a circle of young girls, some of whom even wanted to sit on him. Han Fei shuddered. How shameless! How could a person be so shameless? Suddenly, Xia Xiaochan said angrily to Han Fei, Han Fei, you've gone too far. He didn't even tell us about such a fun thing. Lu Renkuang echoed, it's really too much. She doesn't even share the good stuff. Han Fei was speechless. You've lost your ambition. He Xiaoyu leaned over. Han Fei, how does the 4th Academy train the students? It's tough, right? Is that why his strength can increase so quickly? While talking, He Xiaoyu glanced at Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan said as she played, we don't have regular training. He practiced whatever he could think of. Practice, practice, and become a great fishing master. Zhang Xuanyu refused to practice it, but he was only a peak-level fishing master. He Xiaoyu? Lu Renkuang's lips trembled as he said, Xia Xiaochan means to cultivate hard and kill more people. As long as I slash people well, I'll definitely become a great fishing master. Xia Xiaochan gritted her teeth. Quang Quang, He Xiaoyu, Han Fei's face was all black. Bullshit, don't be fooled by their words. They are all lunatics when they practice. He Xiaoyu finally let out a sigh of relief. How could anyone become a great fishing master so easily? He Xiaoyu whispered in Han Fei's ear, I am an intermediate fishing master. Then you've made great progress. It's really fast. He Xiaoyu complained, who knew you would become a great fishing master so soon? Wang Baiyu suddenly asked, if you really win a 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena, will the Thug Academy enroll students this year? At that time, there will be a lot of people fighting to get in. Wang Baiyu had an idea. After Han Fei went to the 4th Academy, he checked the history of the 4th Academy. Then he was shocked. If he could, he even wanted to give it a try. Xia Xiaochan paused and looked at Luo Xiaobai. It doesn't seem easy to get in. Wang Baiyu raised his eyebrows. What do you mean? Xia Xiaochan pointed at Han Fei. Why don't you ask Han Fei how he came in? Wang Baiyu, He Xiaoyu, and the others all looked at Han Fei. Han Fei scratched his belly and said, I have to resist the 4 of them for 5 seconds to pass. Hiss, Xia Wushuang, Xiang Nan, and Jia Tong almost hugged each other and shivered. We didn't dare to speak or ask. Wang Baiyu and He Xiaoyu were both stunned. What was going on? How could he last 5 seconds under the attacks of these freaks? Are you kidding me? How many of the 10 teams could last 5 seconds? Besides, they were a complete team. Gulp. Xia Wushuang asked, Han Fei, how long did you last? Han Fei paused. Not long. I just passed. My physique is relatively strong. Lu Renkuang snorted. Liar, you lasted for almost 5 minutes. The teacher stopped you. Han Fei scoffed. You didn't try your best at that time. Hiss, Xia Wushuang said, I can't stand it anymore. Can we change tables now? I want to learn how to pick up girls from Zhang Xuanyu. Jia Tong shook his head. First of all, you have to be as good-looking as him. Xiang Nan, Xia Xiaochan glanced at Han Fei secretly and didn't speak. However, she could roughly understand that after a person jumped from one circle to another, it would be very difficult to go back. Before Han Fei continued to discuss, someone exclaimed, Shit, what kind of food is this? Why does it have such a magical taste? Oh my god, I haven't eaten it yet and I'm already drooling just from the smell. Someone shouted at Han Fei's table, Han Fei, what is this? Han Fei responded loudly, Hot pot. Fish Dragon Hot Pot is a unique craft of the fish dragons. Damn, it's so delicious. Someone picked up his chopsticks and almost bit off his own tongue when he took a bite. Lu Renquang swallowed. A group of greenhorns. We eat it every day. Everyone in the hot pot restaurant was here to chase after their idol. However, when they saw that Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan were in love, they didn't care about the boys. Some people even wanted to confess their love to Luo Xiaobai, but Luo Xiaobai didn't even talk to the people at her table, let alone outsiders. In the end, only the shameless Zhang Xuanyu was left, eating and drinking at her table. Fortunately, they didn't come in vain. This hot pot was really delicious. It could be said that it was the most delicious dish they had ever eaten in their lives, and it made up for the grief of countless people for being lovelorn. After eating and drinking, Han Fei said goodbye to He Xiaoyu and the others. He Xiaoyu asked, Han Fei, can I go to the 4th Academy to play? Before Han Fei spoke, Luo Xiaobai said, no. He Xiaoyu frowned. But Luo Xiaobai said coldly, if you can get in, we welcome you. But if you come to play, it will affect everyone's cultivation. Besides, the Thug Academy is not a place that anyone can enter. Han Fei can't make the decision. Han Fei scratched his belly, a little embarrassed. He Xiaoyu, I'll go to see you later. Our school is indeed a little special. He Xiaoyu pouted. But watching Han Fei and the others leave, He Xiaoyu stomped the ground hard. What? She's awesome. Why does she look down on us? Wang Baiyu said lightly, she didn't look down on us. This Luo Xiaobai is a very rational person. She must have her reasons for not letting you go. Maybe it's because of their cultivation methods, or maybe it's because of other reasons. Xiang Nan faintly said, Xiaoyu, in fact, I suddenly feel that the gap between us and Han Fei is a bit big. Among the 5 people, the weakest is Zhang Xuanyu, right? As a peak-level fishing master, he could fight a great fishing master alone. What about the others? Xia Xiaochan killed her opponents almost in a flash. The fatty, Wang Baiyu, you are an armorist. What do you think? Wang Baiyu sighed. It's impossible. I don't think any junior great fishing master can resist his torrents of knives and swords. Xia Wushuang also shook his head. As for Luo Xiaobai, not everyone could be the captain. Since you can, you must have a reason to be the captain. Chen Qing reminded, don't forget how Han Fei survived the claws of the purple-tailed Scorpion King. Did that purple-tailed Scorpion King die? Everyone was silent. He Xiaoyu said anxiously, but even if they are all geniuses, so what? Are we going to alienate them? Wang Baiyu smiled. Han Fei is not alienating you, but we can't jump into his circle for the time being. If I'm not mistaken, the 5 of them are undergoing an extremely important test or trial. The top 100 of the arena is just their first small goal. I don't know what they are doing, but this test must be very difficult. So, they need to cultivate. And if they need to cultivate, they can't waste too much time on other things. Do you understand? He Xiaoyu looked gloomy. I'm going back to school. On Han Fei's side, Luo Xiaobai said lightly, none of them can enter our school. Han Fei said unhappily, don't treat everyone as monsters, okay? He Xiaoyu also has an exotic spiritual beast, Little Red. Xia Xiaochan tilted her head and looked at Han Fei. Did you teach her anything? Huh. Xia Xiaochan said slyly, I can see it. Her walking posture, the strength of her limbs, and the point of force exertion are a bit strange, a bit like your incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. Han Fei was surprised. You can see that? Xia Xiaochan giggled. It seems that you are very interested in this little girl. Han Fei scratched his belly. Before, when I was in the village, I didn't know anyone well, right? In the 4 years of study, there were only 2 people who didn't alienate me, and He Xiaoyu was one of them. Zhang Xuanyu put his arm around Han Fei's neck. So, like me, you are a lonely friend? Han Fei's face darkened. Fuck off, I am a lonely friend. Luo Xiaobai was still cold. Even so, she is still not good enough. I admit that the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing is very powerful, but it's only powerful, especially after we learn life-saving combat skills. Han Fei was a little unhappy. Don't always measure a person by strength. Han Fei was a little unhappy and sighed in his heart. Since he met Luo Xiaobai and the others, he knew that there were many geniuses in this world. Would he still be like an ordinary person in the future? The God of Fishing. To talk about the God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 163. On the way back to school, the atmosphere was a bit weird. There seemed to be a conflict between Luo Xiaobai and Han Fei. Rumble. Suddenly, there was a muffled thunder in the sky, and countless people ran home. Someone shouted, "Let's go home and wait for the rain." Lu Renquang hurriedly said, "Oh, let's go back to school. Don't get the new clothes we just bought wet." Zhang Xuanyu sneered. "Are you stupid? Han Fei is here. He is a spirit gatherer and has learned water control. How can the rain touch you?" However, Han Fei shouted, "It's thundering, it's raining. Let's go home and collect the clothes." Everyone? As soon as they ran to the plantation, the heavy rain poured down, and Han Fei could only act as an artificial umbrella. When they returned to school, Han Fei suddenly said, "I'm going to the mountains to practice water control. This kind of weather is very suitable for my cultivation. Don't disturb me." Lu Renquang waved his hand. Go. I'll stay in the treehouse." Zhang Xuanyu pondered. "I'm going to break through to be a great fishing master. Don't disturb me." Xia Xiaochan was surprised. "Are you going to make a breakthrough?" Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. "I've felt it for a long time. Now it seems to be just the right time." Luo Xiaobai nodded flatly. "Okay, I'm going to the library to see if there are any combat skills for manipulators." Xia Xiaochan looked around alone. "Forget it, I'll go to the treehouse too." Everyone dispersed and Han Fei ran straight up the mountain. Instead of going to the cave halfway up the mountain, he rushed up the mountain until he climbed more than 2,000 meters high, where there were clouds and mist. Then he found a big stone and sat down in the middle. For so long he had been waiting for this kind of thunderstorm weather in order to cover up the breakthrough of void fishing. At this moment, Han Fei took out the ultra-quality spiritual stone. Deduce. The ultra-quality spiritual stone in Han Fei's hand suddenly burst out a large amount of spiritual energy, crazily pouring into Han Fei's body. Why did the little calabash light up? Han Fei was slightly surprised. The demon purification pot hadn't moved for a long time, but it flashed just now. But after a few dozen seconds, thunder rumbled in the sky and the rain became heavier and heavier. Within 100 seconds, it turned into a downpour, and it seemed to be getting heavier. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, it was no longer just a matter of thunder. Tian lightning streaked across the sky, and large areas of the sky were rendered abnormally strange by the lightning. After half an hour, when Han Fei was about halfway through the deduction of the void fishing art, a voice suddenly rang out. Boom! A bolt of lightning struck down. How could Han Fei react in time? He was struck by a bolt of lightning. Han Fei vomited a mouthful of blood. His entire body was numb, and his hair was standing on end. Fuck, why did you strike me? Boom, another bolt of lightning fell on his head, and Han Fei was stunned. Smoke came out of his mouth. I'm fucking cultivating. Who did he offend? Who did he offend? Han Fei felt that there was no part of his body that didn't hurt, and his internal organs were greatly shaken. He was aghast. Could it be that he was the one who attracted the lightning? No way. God, I didn't say that I was handsome, and I didn't do anything bad. Why did you strike me? At this moment, the demon purification pot was flickering with blue light, almost integrated with the electric arcs on the surface of his body, and in Han Fei's body, spiritual energy was surging. The third bolt of lightning struck down, and Han Fei felt that his whole body was scorched. If it weren't for his extraordinary physique, he would have been struck to death at this moment. No, this lightning is striking me. I can't move now. What should I do? What should I do? With a thought, dozens of low-quality spiritual stones appeared in Han Fei's hands. Indestructible body, cultivate. Han Fei could see the electric arcs flashing on his body, and sometimes there was a crackling sound. After thinking about it, he could only cultivate the indestructible body crazily. Only the indestructible body needed to be tempered constantly. But when he remembered the pain of being skinned, Han Fei felt that since he couldn't stop it, he might as well start cultivating wholeheartedly. His flesh and internal organs contained a lot of energy at this moment. Han Fei vomited a mouthful of blood, which was the result of forcibly cultivating his internal organs with the indestructible body. Han Fei skipped the tempering of his flesh and blood and directly began to repair his internal organs. Not to mention his muscles, his internal organs would have been broken. Rumble, Xia Xiaochan and Lu Renkuang sat in their respective treehouses, opened the windows, and looked at each other. Lu Renkuang sighed. This rain is a bit heavy. The lightning is so fierce. It seems to have fallen behind the mountain. Xia Xiaochan held her chin. It's normal. I've never seen such weather before. However, the lightning is quite beautiful. Lu Renkuang smacked his lips. Cultivating on such a day? I wonder what the two of them are thinking? If they were struck by lightning, it would be so painful. With that said, Lu Renkuang shuddered. Xia Xiaochan continued, the lightning struck on the other side of the mountain, not at the foot. However, when it rains, we should gather in the cave to eat barbecue. Lu Renkuang nodded. Xia Xiaochan, I find that you can also eat a lot now. How many times have you stolen Mr. Xiao Zhan's bull conches? Fuck off. The two of them were chatting through the windows of the treehouses. Little did they know that Han Fei had been struck so hard that he didn't look human at this moment. If it weren't for the spiritual energy in his body, Han Fei felt that he would have died. However, there were still benefits. Han Fei clearly felt that his strength seemed to be growing at a strange speed. He couldn't tell whether this was the disaster caused by the void fishing or the aftereffects caused by the indestructible body. Anyway, the energy in his body was now full to the point of exploding. That was not all. Han Fei could clearly feel that the energy in his stomach was being split apart bit by bit. Then, it integrated into the muscles and bones of his whole body. Han Fei moved his fingers and seemed to be able to move a little. He wondered if he hadn't been struck by lightning when he deduced the void fishing arts several times before. So now he had to make up for it all at once. After another half an hour, Han Fei broke another 10 low-quality spiritual stones. However, the number of times he was struck by lightning was reduced by nearly half. This was good news. Han Fei. When Xia Xiaochan came over, her face changed drastically. She saw that Han Fei had been struck out of shape. At that time, she hurriedly ran up, trying to drag Han Fei away. Be careful. The God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 164. Han Fei's eyes widened. Damn it, why is Xia Xiaochan here? Didn't I tell you not to disturb me? At that moment, Han Fei gathered all his strength and pressed Xia Xiaochan under his body. Rumble! A bolt of lightning fell and Han Fei vomited a mouthful of blood on Xia Xiaochan's face. Xia Xiaochan had never seen such a scene before. She was stunned. Although most of the lightning power was blocked by Han Fei, Xia Xiaochan's whole body was numb and blood was oozing from the corner of her mouth. Xia Xiaochan was a little surprised. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but when the power of lightning entered her body, she felt that her body seemed to be a little stronger. It was very weak, but it was there. After dozens of seconds, Xia Xiaochan's body finally recovered some consciousness and she immediately said, "Let's go, hurry up." However, Han Fei was unmoved. At this moment, his whole body was like charcoal, and his clothes had already turned into charcoal and stuck to his body. Plus the blood on his body surface mixed with the impurities forced out by the lightning, he had already turned into a shell. Han Fei said with difficulty, "I can't go away." Xia Xiaochan wanted to get up. "Why can't I go away?" Rumble! Another bolt of lightning struck down, making Han Fei's body sink. With a muffled cough, Han Fei vomited a mouthful of blood again. However, Xia Xiaochan's body was numb again. Han Fei hinted with his eyes that I said I can't go away. I told you not to come here, but you just had to come here. Strangely, the two of them just stared at each other with their eyes wide open. Every minute or so, there would be a bolt of lightning. Anyway, every time Xia Xiaochan was about to recover the ability to move, the lightning would come down. Xia Xiaochan asked, "What on earth have you done to deserve this? How did you get hit like this?" Han Fei replied, "How do I know? I just sat here and haven't cultivated yet, and it hit me." Xia Xiaochan asked, "Don't move." Han Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I didn't move." Xia Xiaochan blushed. Han Fei's clothes had long been smashed, and now there was only a layer of black shell on his body. And Xia Xiaochan herself was not much better. Her clothes had been hit by the lightning several times and had been torn. A large area of her skin was exposed. Xia Xiaochan said, "Don't look." Rumble, puff. 1 minute later, Han Fei's eyes widened as he looked at some indescribable pictures. "Don't look, I didn't do it on purpose. We're all kids." At the bottom of the mountain, Music Lu Renkuang and Zhang Xuanyu stared at each other. Lu Renkuang was puzzled. Why did Xia Xiaochan take so long? It's been an hour, hasn't it? Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. It must have been Xia Xiaochan who attacked Han Fei. She liked that. Last time, when I was cultivating properly, she suddenly slashed at me with her saber, almost cutting off my face. At this time, Luo Xiaobai came back from the library and climbed into her treehouse, only to see the two of them staring at each other. "Where's Xiaochan?" Lu Renkuang said helplessly. "He went to the mountain to fight with Han Fei." Luo Xiaobai frowned. "Didn't Han Fei ask us not to disturb him?" Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. "Ha, you really don't know Xia Xiaochan. She can listen? In our group, she likes to fight the most." So the three of them began to stare at each other. Little did they know that on the top of the mountain, Xia Xiaochan had gone crazy and her clothes were cut off. Han Fei's eyelids twitched wildly. "Don't panic. The lightning is getting less and less." Nasa. Rumble. 1 minute later. "Han Fei, you're shameless." "Yes, I'm shameless. I'm going to hack you to death." Yes, when we go down the mountain, I'll let you hack me to death." "Get up." "I can't move." "I'll bite you to death." Ba ba ba. A layer of the shell on Han Fei's shoulder was bitten off by Xia Xiaochan and it was covered with sticky dirt. Now it stuck to him like a rice crust. Han Fei reminded her, "Be careful. Don't break your teeth." Xia Xiaochan listened to him. She bit the exposed snow-white skin on Han Fei's shoulder. "It hurts." Han Fei was speechless. "I told you you can't bite me. Look at the shell on my body, it's like an extra layer of scales." Xia Xiaochan's eyes were about to burst into flames. "Shut up. Han Fei, you're dead. You're dead. I'm going to hack you to death. I told you not to come to me." Xia Xiaochan complained, "Why can't the lightning kill you? Come on." Obviously, Xia Xiaochan had already given up. Now she couldn't wait to strike a few more lightning bolts and turn Han Fei into a retard. But at this time, the rain had gradually subsided and the lightning seemed to have decreased a lot. Before, 1 or 2 lightning bolts came, but before this one, both of them could move, but the lightning hadn't come down yet. Bim! Han Fei was pushed out by Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan looked at him and immediately hid behind a big stone in shame and anger. Xia Xiaochan poked her head out and said angrily, "Clothes?" Han Fei was helpless. "Where are the clothes?" "Idiot, in the sea-swallowing seashell. We bought a row of clothes." Han Fei immediately understood. This thing was not broken and he threw it into Forge the Universe. So Han Fei took out the sea-swallowing seashell and a set of clothes and handed them to Xia Xiaochan behind the stone. Han Fei said, "Xia Xiaochan, don't come out yet. I'll get rid of the shell on my body and take a bath first." Xia Xiaochan didn't say anything. Han Fei's body shook violently and large pieces of black shell fell off. At this time, Han Fei found that he had lost weight again. At least 2 times thinner. If he used to be a fat man of 500 kilograms, now he was 300 kilograms. Although he was still a little fat, The difference was like night and day. Han Fei felt full of strength, his muscles no longer hurt, his internal organs were repaired, and his bones were no longer sore. He even gave himself a hard rub. Suddenly, Han Fei felt a gust of wind behind him. Looking back, he saw Xia Xiaochan stabbing at him with 2 daggers. The supreme stab spiritual energy was flashing and sparks could be seen in the air. However, Han Fei turned around. Xia Xiaochan was so scared that she covered her eyes in midair and jumped in the wrong direction, heading straight for the cliff. Han Fei grabbed Xia Xiaochan. "Where are you jumping?" Xia Xiaochan turned into a shadow, flashed over the ground, and stood behind the stone. "Han Fei, you are shameless, despicable, nasty, hooligan. Hurry up and put on your clothes." Xia Xiaochan kept muttering behind the stone. Han Fei stood in the rain and looked at the surrounding floating islands. After a long time, Xia Xiaochan's voice disappeared, but no one came out. Han Fei looked back. Xia. The next second, Han Fei's face changed instantly. If the two of them were just playing and Han Fei was just helping Xia Xiaochan resolve the unknown force in her body, then at this moment, Han Fei felt his heart tremble. In front of him, on the stone, Xia Xiaochan's body surface emitted a strange red light, accompanied by electric currents. Hiss! Han Fei immediately knew that Xia Xiaochan had an attack without any signs. "Xiaochan!" Han Fei called softly. However, Xia Xiaochan on the stone disappeared in the blink of an eye. Almost in the blink of an eye, a knife slashed at Han Fei's chest. Han Fei's reaction was fast enough. His body moved back a little, but he was still cut and his skin was torn. Han Fei immediately activated a spiritual energy protective cover, and at the same time, he held 2 knives in his hands. In the blink of an eye, they had fought dozens of times. Clang, 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 buzz, Han Fei's spiritual energy protective cover was broken again in less than a minute. In less than 2 minutes, there were 5 or 6 more wounds on Han Fei's body. Although the wounds were not deep, they were terrifying. He had just finished practicing the indestructible body art. After being tempered by the lightning, he had lost a lot of weight and the power in his body had soared, but he still couldn't resist the attack. Fuse. On the top of the mountain, Old Bai and the other 2 were watching. Xiao Zhan's face changed slightly and he was about to take action. Old Bai stopped Xiao Zhan. "Don't move. You can't stay with them all the time. Let Han Fei solve it himself." Xiao Zhan and Wenren Yu both looked pale and were ready to take action at any time. Below, Han Fei's strength soared after the fusion. He finally caught sight of Xiaochan's swift figure. The 2 of them began to fight crazily. For a moment, the rocks collapsed, and Han Fei soared into the air and controlled the water. The 2 of them couldn't even see their hands anymore, only the blurry shadows of knives and swords. All kinds of ordinary combat skills were used by Han Fei. However, Xia Xiaochan wasn't weak at all. Her shadows, footwork, tricky daggers, and combat skills were only on par with Han Fei's. The contents of this chapter are mobile update. More terrifyingly, Han Fei found that he seemed to be able to control the fusion. Perhaps the attack was too strong, or perhaps it was for some unknown reason, but he felt that the state of fusion could be broken at any moment. Attach. 7-star chain. Bang bang bang. With the same speed, Han Fei finally tied up Xia Xiaochan. She couldn't turn into a shadow anytime and anywhere. That required her to be in a state of freedom. After the stalemate lasted for half an hour, Xia Xiaochan suddenly felt weak. Han Fei quickly helped her. "Xia Xiaochan, hey, do you hear me?" "Xia Xiaochan, let me." "Calm down." Han Fei breathed a sigh of relief and cancelled the fusion and attachment. As soon as he cancelled it, he sat on the ground, panting. After a moment, Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei guiltily with red eyes. Han Fei waved his hand and smiled. Forget it, we're even. Now I'm not mean, dirty, and shameless, right?" Puff, Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes at Han Fei. "Hurry up and go down the mountain. Don't tell anyone. And your clothes, hurry up and change." Han Fei looked down at the strips of cloth on his body and was speechless. "I've changed into strips of cloth in less than 5 minutes? That's all money. God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow UA Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 165. On the top of the mountain, Wenren Yu looked at Old Bai. Old Bai, is Han Fei's thunder heritage? Old Bai shook his head slightly. I don't know. There are thousands of spiritual veins in the boundless world. Who knows? But I'm afraid it's possible for someone to block the lightning. Wenren Yu frowned. Okay, let's not talk about Han Fei for now. He is Mr. Zhang's disciple, so we can trust him. But what about Xia Xiaochun? Where did you bring her back? Will what happened just now happen again? Although our Thug Academy doesn't care about one's background or opportunities, don't forget how the Thug Academy declined back then. Old Bai sighed. My old friend's daughter asked me to take care of her. Don't think too much. Wenren Yu asked, who is your old friend? Xia Xiaochun doesn't have any spiritual veins and talents at all. Old Bai said lightly, there are thousands of spiritual veins in the boundless world. How can you be sure that Han Fei has a thunder heritage? How can you be sure that Xia Xiaochun's strange power is not an opportunity? There are too many opportunities in the boundless ocean. Who knows? At the foot of the mountain, when Han Fei and Xia Xiaochun returned, they immediately heard a scream, which came from Lu Renkuang. Lu Renkuang leaned against the window, widening his eyes. Hey, who are you? What did you do to Han Fei? Han Fei's face was black. Kuang, you're too much. Lu Renkuang was stunned. Damn, why did you lose so much weight? Tell me, what happened to you? It's only been 2 hours and you've lost so much weight? Wouldn't you be thinner than me in another 2 hours? Han Fei said angrily, I'm thinner than you. Why don't you go to the top of the mountain and try being struck by lightning? Lu Renkuang was taken aback. You were struck by lightning? Han Fei stretched out his hand, his thumb and index finger close, and a blue arc flickered between the 2 fingers. You were really struck by lightning? Xia Xiaochun snorted coldly. How miserable! Zhang Xuanyu was dumbfounded. Is that so? Don't lie to me. Of course. I've never heard of lightning that could make people thin, and I've never heard of anyone who was struck by lightning and could still stand on this side. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, he must have been hacked. He changed his clothes. Luo Xiaobai didn't know why, but the air suddenly became quiet. Because they found that not only had Han Fei's clothes changed, but so had Xia Xiaochun's. Was Xia Xiaochun also struck by lightning? At this moment, no one cared about why Han Fei lost weight. Because Han Fei had said countless times that he would lose weight. He was just temporarily fat. However, now that the 2 of them had gone up the mountain and changed their clothes, there was something to be said. Lu Renkuang swallowed. They were gone for quite a long time. Zhang Xuanyu was horrified. He raised his hand and pointed at Han Fei, trembling. You're shameless. As for Xia Xiaochun, she watched the whole process. She had been struck by lightning more than once. He had to find a way to fool her. Sure enough, after a while, Old Bai, Xiao Zhan, and Wenren Yu came. Xiao Zhan asked directly, Han Fei, tell me what happened? Han Fei replied, I don't know. I just wanted to cultivate. As soon as I sat down, I was struck by lightning before I had time to start cultivating. Wenren Yu chuckled. Oh, I didn't die. That's a good thing. Han Fei complained, Ms. Wenren, do you want me to die so much? Wenren Yu rolled her eyes at Han Fei. Do you have any special feelings? Han Fei replied, my upper limit of spiritual energy has skyrocketed and my physical strength seems to have also skyrocketed. And my spiritual heritage seems to have increased a little, everyone? Xiao Zhan frowned. Are you sure? It's only natural that your physical strength has greatly increased. Lightning has the magical effect of refining impurities. It's understandable that your physical strength has greatly increased since you can withstand the baptism of lightning. But your upper limit of spiritual energy and spiritual heritage. Old Bai continued, the great increase in physical strength has greatly increased the upper limit of your physique and meridians. This is understandable. But how much has your spiritual heritage improved? Han Fei chuckled. It seems to have broken through from level 3, high quality, to level 4. I don't know what level 4 is exactly. Old Bai glanced at Wenren Yu. Bring me the spiritual heritage testing stone. After a while, Wenren Yu brought the stone over. Under everyone's curious gaze, Han Fei put his hand on the spiritual heritage testing stone. Then, a light blue light burst out. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Old Bai muttered, level 4, low quality. Even Zhang Xuanyu, who was chased back, breathed a sigh of relief at this moment. This guy was struck by lightning, and an exotic spirit vein appeared. This was simply too exciting. Old Bai pondered for a moment and deliberately explained, maybe it's just a pure baptism of lightning. If I'm not mistaken, when the power of lightning in your body is exhausted, the enhancement of your physical strength and the increase in your upper limit of spiritual energy will also stop, and it won't last long. Xiao Zhan patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Did you hear that? Cultivate well for the next 2 days and refine this lightning power. Han Fei grinned. When have I not been cultivating? Never stopped, okay? What do you know? My lord, he had used up all of his top-grade spirit stones and half of his low-grade spirit stones, but he had barely managed to forge his current achievements. Only Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei suspiciously with disheveled hair. Was it really as simple as being struck by lightning as the principal said? Absolutely impossible. She watched as Han Fei was struck by lightning and vomited blood everywhere. But now, he was sitting here telling everyone that he was in good health. His waist didn't hurt, and his legs weren't sore. This was completely illogical. After everybody left, Han Fei secretly spent 1,000 points of spiritual energy to make a long red cloth with a bit of ruby from the sea silkworm cloth. Han Fei raised the red cloth and nodded in satisfaction. Ancient people used this to tie their hair, that's right. He shouted at the window, Xia Xiaogan, come here. All of a sudden, 3 heads popped out of the treehouse and stared at each other. Han Fei was helpless. It's none of your business. Xia Xiaochan mumbled, I'm not going. Han Fei said, then I'll go over. Han Fei jumped down from his treehouse and jumped onto Xia Xiaochan's treehouse. Don't cut me. I have something for you. In the treehouse, when Xia Xiaochan saw Han Fei come in, she glared at him fiercely. What is it? Han Fei waved the red cloth in his hand and said, turn your head. Xia Xiaochan? Han Fei said, turn around. When Xia Xiaochan turned her head, Han Fei stroked her hair with one hand and said, this is the hair tie I just made for you. It's also called a red ribbon. It's definitely better than your previous one. Xia Xiaochan gritted her teeth, holding a knife in her hand, wondering if she should cut him. Should she cut him? What if she couldn't cut him? If she couldn't cut him, should she just give up? In the end, Xia Xiaochan didn't cut him. After tying the hair tie, Han Fei tied a large bow. At this time, Han Fei said faintly, well, don't tell them that I was struck by lightning. Well, you go and take a look at them. I'm going to cultivate. Xia Xiaochan's eyes narrowed slightly. There's a big secret, right? Han Fei shook his head. No, absolutely not. A sly gleam flashed in Xia Xiaochan's eyes, and she suddenly patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Don't worry, I'll keep it a secret for you. After Han Fei left, Xia Xiaochan thought of the scene when she was struck by lightning and couldn't help shivering. It seemed that not only she had secrets, but others also had secrets. For some reason, she was a little excited. It turned out that there was someone more miserable than me. Xia Xiaochan was suddenly in a good mood. Using the dagger as a mirror, she tilted her head and looked at the red ribbon and the bow, and her eyes lit up. The god of fishing. If you want to talk about the god of fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat to chat about life and find confidence. Read 2. Chapter 166. 2 days later, Han Fei completed a round of cultivation of the 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies and was very satisfied with the increase in his upper limit of spiritual energy. Although it didn't reach 2,199, it was almost there. But this was not what made him happy. At night, when he practiced the void fishing art, He found that the third level of void fishing was completely different from the second level, and the effect was dozens of times higher. Even if he was not at sea, with the help of the spirit gathering formation, Han Fei could absorb nearly 8,000 points of spiritual energy from the void. This speed was terrifying. He still remembered that when he was practicing the first level of void fishing, it was only about 300 points of spiritual energy. And the second level was only about 1,200 points. Because it was too slow, he chose to go to the barbecue stall. Now, with the help of the spirit gathering formation on the third level, he could absorb 8,000 points of spiritual energy overnight. At this speed, it would only take him 3 or 4 months to accumulate 1 million points of spiritual energy. It was more than enough for his own cultivation and various combat skills. Only the deduction of the fourth level had a problem. Even if he practiced hard every night, it would take him more than 3 years to deduce 10 million points of spiritual energy. Damn it, this technique is powerful, but it consumes too much spiritual energy. It's not a problem to deduce the fourth level. But what about the fifth level? Swish! Suddenly, Han Fei felt the wind behind him, and he quickly activated a spiritual energy protective cover. Gotcha! The spiritual energy protective cover was broken, and a dagger was inserted into Han Fei's skin a little, and a little blood flowed out. Han Fei was speechless. Xia Shutan, it's scary to see you like this. Xia Shaochan looked at Han Fei's wound and wondered, why has your physique become stronger again? Han Fei pretended not to know. I've finished refining my thunder power. Look, it's only been 2 days and you can pierce my skin without any attack. It can be seen that my physique is not as strong as I thought. Xia Shaochan chuckled. Even an advanced great fishing master can't block my supreme stab, but you blocked it with your body. Is this not as strong as you thought? Then how strong do you think I am? Han Fei waved his hand. Forget it. When you become an intermediate great fishing master, you can try again. At that time, it will be more than just piercing my skin. Xia Shaochan still felt that Han Fei had other secrets. Why did he run to the top of the mountain to practice that dare refine? Did he coincidentally get struck by lightning again? Something was definitely wrong. Xia Shaochan raised her eyelids. Let's go to the competition. The Blue Sea Arena sent someone to inform me that they found some teams of intermediate great fishing masters, enough for us to fight for 3 days. Is the opponent very strong? Our goal is to become an advanced great fishing master. Intermediate great fishing masters are nothing to us. Blue Sea Arena. This place became popular again. Knowing that the thug legend was coming again, the tickets were sold out. Han Fei saw many teams. When these teams saw Han Fei and the others, their eyes lit up and they couldn't wait to fight them. Lu Renkuang wondered, these people seem to want to eat us. Zhang Xuanyu smiled and said, I heard that if we win, we'll get money. I'm also excited. Luo Xiaobai said, let's test the waters first. If it was difficult, he could use tactics. If it's not difficult, we'll just kill our way through. Xia Shaochan pondered. I want to feel how strong the physique of an intermediate great fishing master is. Everyone looked at Xia Shaochan. Recently, Xia Shaochan had been obsessed and would stab Han Fei every now and then. Although she couldn't cut him, she never stopped stabbing him. In the auditorium, there was a sea of people and it was noisy. This time, teachers from all 3 academies came. In the first academy, several teenagers were sitting quietly in the front row. Next to them, a female teacher said, take a closer look. If they can defeat these intermediate great fishing master teams within 100 minutes, I'll arrange for you to fight them in a few days. One of the students said, I don't think it's a big problem. Among these teams, there are few perfect combinations. In terms of combat power and controllability, they are not as good as the thug legend. There's no chance of winning. Another student said, I heard that the second academy sent a team of students, all of whom are the top 1,000 masters of the 3 academies. They seem to want to measure the strength of the thug legend. A girl said, don't overestimate them. The top 1,000 masters of the Blue Sea Town are all peak-level intermediate great fishing masters. Besides, after systematic learning and tactical drills, they are more experienced than them. The female teacher said, "Don't be proud. The fourth academy has been in seclusion for 30 years. This time, they won't send their students here just to fight with these intermediate great fishing masters. These intermediate great fishing masters fight together." On the other side, in the territory of the second academy, a male teacher said, "It's not that I overestimate the fourth academy, but their perfect formation is not something these intermediate great fishing masters can defeat. So, no matter what the result is, I will consider arranging for you to fight them next time." One of the students said, "Teacher, do you think the fourth academy will win?" The male teacher replied, "It's not that I'm optimistic about them, but I'm not optimistic about these intermediate great fishing master teams." In the arena, the host was exaggerating the atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, the long-lost thug legend has returned, but their opponents have also become stronger. In this competition, all teams are composed of intermediate great fishing masters. Any one of them has once dominated the Blue Sea arena. Any one of them has fought their way out of the encirclement in the Level 2 fishery. Don't doubt that today's game can't be missed. Let's welcome the first team, the Iron Bone team. "Oh, beat the thug legend, I bet on you. Beat the thug legend, you are the thug legend." In the entire arena, nearly half of the people were cheering for the Iron Bone team, because it was meaningless to bet on the thug legend now. The odds were too low, and the odds on these teams were terrifyingly high. As long as they won, the chips in everyone's hands would double. The members of the Iron Bone team roared. The captain instructed, "Later, the two hunters block that Xia Shaochan, the armorist block the opponent's armorist, and the soul warrior should quickly kill Zhang Xuanyu, who is still a peak-level fishing master. I will block Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai first, and the soul warrior will come back quickly." At this moment, Han Fei and the other four walked out of the contestants' channel, and the audience cheered. "Thugs, if we lose one game, we'll be rich." Lose? What a 100-game winning streak. It's so tiring. "Zhang Xuanyu, I love you. Xia Shaochan, I like you. Damn, Han Fei, you've lost weight. Referee, there's a fake Han Fei here today. I want a thorough investigation." Many people were surprised to find that Han Fei had lost weight. He was much thinner than before and was no longer a ball. A girl shouted, "Han Fei, what method did you use to lose weight?" Lu Renkuang's eyes were full of resentment. "What a pity." Han Fei chuckled. "Why don't you be struck by lightning too?" Lu Renkuang scoffed. "I'm not courting death." Luo Xiaobai warned, "Be careful. Their captain is very strong. He's a manipulator and a soul warrior. Don't underestimate him." Xia Shaochan pressed her hand on the dagger. "I'll go and finish him." "It shouldn't be that simple. Two hunters. They're definitely targeting you." Zhang Xuanyu was surprised. "So, their captain wanted to fight 1 against 2? Deal with Han Fei and you at the same time? Did he take the wrong medicine?" Luo Xiaobai said, "Let's try it first." "Host, both sides are in position. Although it hasn't started yet, I can already feel the strong aura from both sides. Look, Iron Bone team is moving. Wow, Thug Legend is still as casual as ever. Then, let's see if the Thug Legend can continue to create a legend." The game starts. Fuse. Detach. Xia Shaochan immediately disappeared. Immediately after, in the right half of the field, the two fighters clashed in the air, and sparks flew everywhere. The opponent's armorist was the first to attack. Torrents of knives and swords. It was not a particularly profound combat skill, but the opponent knew it. Lu Renkuang laughed. "Interesting. Torrents of knives and swords." In an instant, it seemed that hundreds of swords and knives were intersecting in the air, and the scene was very chaotic. And the opponent's soul warrior had already rushed up, and the spear in his hand shot a cold light at Zhang Xuanyu from dozens of meters away. 7-layered waves in furious sea, Zhang Xuanyu shattered the opponent's spear light. The host shouted, "Oh my God, Zhang Xuanyu has broken through to the realm of a great fishing master. This game has become very complicated." However, the captain of the Iron Bone team seems to want to fight 1 against 2. How will he deal with the attacks of Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai? Han Fei replied, "I'll go and have a try." With that, Han Fei leaped out and brandished the two knives in his hands, as if he was going to fight in a group fight. The audience? Everyone was speechless. This was probably the most violent spirit gatherer they had ever seen. The god of fishing. If you want to talk about fishing god, with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat. Chapter 167. Han Fei's speed was not slow. Although he knew that the captain of the Ironbone team was a manipulator, so what? Luo Xiaobai was also a manipulator, but she couldn't control him. The captain of the Ironbone team frowned. Insect explosion. For a moment, the ground was surging and countless beetles appeared. Soon they covered the entire ground. Buzz buzz buzz, Han Fei was shocked. What the fuck is this manipulator? This is an insect master. Insect disaster. Luo Xiaobai's face changed slightly. Vine killing technique. Dozens of vines broke out of the ground and instantly turned into huge whips, slapping the ground fiercely. With each blow, a bunch of insects turned into spiritual energy fragments. But the manipulator didn't care, because the moment a vine fell to the ground, it was bitten through. Luo Xiaobai's face changed slightly. Blue poisonous vine. The vines rolled on the ground. On the edge of the withered vines, a circle of spiritual insects shattered and were poisoned to death. Luo Xiaobai controlled the vines and pulled Han Fei into the air. And the opponent didn't want to be outdone. Countless insects flew up and were determined to pounce on Han Fei. Han Fei glanced at the sky full of knives and swords not far away. Me too, Blade Storm, the magic of love, I spin in circles, round and round, Luo Xiaobai. Lu Renquang grinned. What is he singing? It's so unpleasant. Han Fei was spinning in circles in the insect disaster, but he still couldn't stop the overwhelming insects. A large number of insects were easily torn apart, but when the knife light flashed, Han Fei had been stung with insects all over his body. Han Fei's body surface erupted with spiritual energy, directly shaking away the insects. The captain of the Ironbone team shouted, "Damn, why haven't you killed Zhang Xuanyu yet?" The sole warrior of the Ironbone team was also helpless. I want to kill him, but this Zhang Xuanyu who has become a great fishing master is too strong. Only those who have experienced the seven-layered waves in Furious Sea know how terrifying it is. It was simply one wave after another. There was no chance for him to retreat at all. Fortunately, Zhang Xuanyu's realm was lower than his and his spiritual energy was not as abundant as his. Otherwise, he didn't know how to fight at this moment. Host, wonderful, wonderful. This is a feast of blade light and sword shadows. This is a showdown between manipulators. Not long after the host shouted, a figure flew out while vomiting blood. Everyone saw that a hunter of the Ironbone team had been defeated by Xia Shaochan. Hiss. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Two intermediate great fishing masters intercepted a junior great fishing master, but one of them was defeated so quickly? How long has it been? It hadn't even been 20 breaths. Someone in the audience shouted, "It's over, it's over. Xia Shaochan has been freed. Where are we going to win now?" Just as Xia Shaochan killed a hunter, Han Fei's circle finally turned to the captain of the Ironbone team. He wanted to run, but Luo Xiaobai didn't give him a chance. The vines and insects tangled together, trapping him inside. Puff puff puff. When Han Fei stopped spinning, he couldn't even walk steadily and felt dizzy. This skill wasn't good. If he used it for too long, he wouldn't even know where he was. Meanwhile, the captain of the Ironbone team was lying on the ground, moaning. It's not that I'm not strong enough, it's just that the gap between my teammates and the enemy's teammates is too big. In just a few seconds, Team Ironbone, who had lost 2 members, announced their defeat. The battle had taken a total of 28 breaths. A large number of spectators were shouting, "Thug, legend, legend." Someone mocked. Betting on the Ironbone team to win in front of the perfect combination? I don't know what those people think. Someone complained, who knows that even intermediate great fishing masters can't resist the attacks of these people? In the 3 academies, a heated discussion had begun. The first academy. I don't think they are as strong as we thought. The Ironbone battle team wasn't much to begin with. Other than the team leader, no one else can. No, the thug legend obviously didn't use his full strength. Look at Han Fei. If it was a life-and-death duel, would he be running around? And those bugs can't bite him, can they? However, it can be proved that Luo Xiaobai's strength is not as strong as imagined. His initial estimation was that she was at the peak of the intermediate level. It's impossible for him to be any stronger. The second academy. The Ironbone battle team can't test their strength. Teacher, should we arrange for a group of people to go up and have a fight? The teacher shook his head. Who should we arrange? No one below the top 1,000 should be able to defeat them. And you are at most on par with them, unless you want to fight now. That's true. Let the third academy go. They always like to steal the limelight. The third academy. The teacher said, let the first and second academies fight. We won't go up. A student asked, Teacher, shall we call the first echelon in the school? The teacher replied, No, I dare to bet that whoever goes up first will be the first to lose. Next, with the experience of the Ironbone battle team and the strength comparison, the thug legend crushed them all the way. On the first day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 32 minutes. On the second day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 40 minutes. On the third day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 50 minutes. On this day, it was said that a team of advanced great fishing masters was dispatched. Han Fei and the others finally waited for a real battle. But to their surprise, as soon as they arrived at the Blue Sea Arena, they saw 5 teenagers of the same age walking towards them. Thug legend. Do you think it's easy for you to win 50 games? Luo Xiaobai asked. Who are you? The leading boy smiled. Yang Xiao of the First Academy. Today, your first opponent will be us. We're also a perfect combination. I hope you can show your strength. If you're still the same as a few days ago, just wait to admit defeat. Zhang Xuanyu ignored this boy but said to the girl in this boy's team, Hey, girl, let's get to know each other. How about I take you to eat hot pot tonight? The girl glared at Zhang Xuanyu and snorted. If you can beat me. Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes. Zhang Xuanyu, don't be so embarrassing. Lu Renquang muttered, the other party seems to be very strong. The corner of Yang Zhao's mouth twitched. Are you listening to me carefully? Luo Xiaobai nodded. Okay, as you wish. A student behind Yang Xiao chuckled. Fourth Academy, just wait. Do you really think there are no opponents in the Blue Sea Arena? Han Fei looked at Xia Xiaochan. Is he provoking us? Xia Xiaochan nodded. It seems so. Let's kill him first, okay? Yang Xiao and the others, backstage in the box. After reading the information in her hand, Luo Xiaobai said lightly, Let's do our best in this game. Zhang Xuanyu was slightly taken aback. That's not necessary. I don't feel that they are very strong. Luo Xiaobai continued, in the first 50 games, we didn't have a perfect cooperation at all. If we continue to do that in the future, it will be meaningless for us. Xia Xiaochan waved her dagger. Okay, if we win this game, there will be more and more masters in the future. In the arena, the First Academy team had already entered the field, and the people outside were shouting crazily. Because this team even temporarily named itself Thug Eliminator Team, which was very arrogant. The two teams stood on the field. Yang Xiao, Intermediate Great Fishing Master, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Electric Spirit Jellyfish, Spirit Gatherer. This chapter is edited by Handwritten Update, Hu Karen, the only girl on the other side, Junior Peak Level Great Fishing Master, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Ice Flame Tortoise, Soul Warrior. Lu Abai, Junior Peak Level Great Fishing Master, Armorist, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Wolf Crab. Sun Feiyu, Intermediate Great Fishing Master, Hunter, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Phantom Jellyfish. Lin Miao, Junior Great Fishing Master, Manipulator, Sea Green Vine. Note that he is an exotic vine spiritual plant, which may be tougher than the blue cannibal flower in terms of hardness. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Is that little girl a soul warrior? Interesting. She's a bit strong. The other side also has an all-element lineup, and all of them have exotic spiritual beasts. Xia Xiaochan said proudly, there are many people with exotic spiritual beasts, but how many geniuses are there? Han Fei said decisively, leave Yang Xiao to me. Manipulator versus manipulator. No problem, right? Han Fei glanced at Luo Xiaobai. He smiled faintly. In the first 50 games, they were just bystanders, but this time they were going to break out. Luo Xiaobai said, no problem. But if something goes wrong, I will pull you back by force. At this moment, everyone in the audience found that the thug legend seemed to have changed. They couldn't tell exactly what had changed, but they felt different. The host announced, the game starts. If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 168. Fuse. This time, the audience was surprised to find that the thug legend did not take the initiative to attack but stood still. Someone said, they're all geniuses. This is going to be interesting. Someone echoed, yes, their lineup is definitely not bad. Someone said, I've bet on the thug killer team. Since they dare to come, they must be prepared. Do you know that Yang Xiao? He's an exotic spiritual beast, electric spirit jellyfish. It's said that he's a genius who is expected to enter the top 100. I also know that Hu Karen. She's a cold flame tortoise. She can burst out cold flames in battle and can directly freeze people into ice cubes. In the seats of the 3 academies. Next to the teacher of the first academy, there was only an indifferent boy sitting. The teacher asked, what do you think? Not good. They can't beat Yang Xiao. The 4th academy is not qualified to rise. In the crowd, He Xiaoyu and the others were also there. He Xiaoyu asked worriedly, can they win? Yang Xiao is very strong. Wang Baiyu's face was serious. Yang Xiao is ranked 907th in the 3 academies of the Blue Sea Town. He is very strong. He Xiaoyu swallowed. Hu Karen is my senior sister. I've seen her fight. She can freeze people into ice cubes. On the field, Lin Miao took the lead and pressed his hand on the ground, causing the ground to crack. Green vines swam like spiritual snakes, and in the blink of an eye, thousands of spiritual snakes broke out of the ground. The 5 opponents were entangled by the green vines, which greatly hindered their chance to escape. Lu Abai shouted, Fei Yu, take my knife. The dagger in the hunter's hand shot out like lightning at Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan just tilted her head and dodged it. Xia Xiaochan snorted. Provocation? Giggle. Shadow kill. Xia Xiaochan took the lead and disappeared in the blink of an eye, and a silver ray appeared in front of Sun Feiyu in an instant. Sun Feiyu's face changed greatly. So fast. Shield. Lu Abai reacted quickly and a shield immediately appeared in front of Sun Feiyu. Clang! A hole was directly pierced through the shield. Sun Feiyu blocked it with his 2 daggers and slid backward on the ground. He slid 4 or 5 meters. Xia Xiaochan disappeared in the vines, and then Lin Miao's face changed slightly. No, it's a shadow. Yes, Xia Xiaochan had completely turned into a shadow and appeared in front of Sun Feiyu. Ingren. Shadows passed through from all directions, and Sun Feiyu's body was directly penetrated. Hiss! So powerful! Sun Feiyu just provoked him, and now he's kneeling? Pull it back. Quang Quang, someone is using an armor box in front of you. In midair, a thin vine suddenly pulled, and Xia Xiaochan reappeared in her own half of the field. Sun Feiyu, who had just been pierced through, reappeared in midair with his illusory figure. Sun Feiyu's face darkened. He had wanted to provoke her, but he had underestimated her strength. Han Fei stepped on the ground and a spirit-gathering array appeared, and then a pillar of spiritual energy poured into Zhang Xuanyu's body. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. You're right, voila. At the scene, half of the arena had the illusion of raging waves surging towards the first academy. The audience held their breath. They had never seen any of the abilities that the thug legend used this time. Zhang Xuanyu stood at the top of the waves, the long rod in his hand piercing through the void. The instantaneous sonic boom directly exploded in the entire arena. Hu Karen looked solemn and shouted, "Cold flame frenzy." Next to her, Lu Abai patted his armor box and dozens of strange scales appeared, as if he was going to help Hu Karen. Lu Renquang shouted, "Hey, do you think I don't exist? Let me show you what a real armor is." Clang! The armor box in Lu Renquang's hand smashed the ground, and a knife flew out. In the blink of an eye, it appeared more than 10 meters away from Lu Abai. Wherever the blade passed, the ground was cut, and the gravel rotated with the blade. However, when everyone saw this knife, the speed of the knife was already very slow, and it seemed to take half a second to fly 1 meter in the air. Lin Miao controlled the vines to attack this knife. However, before the green vines could get within half a meter of the saber, they were all shattered into pieces. The teacher of the First Academy's face suddenly changed. "Bloodthirsty broadsword?" The young man next to the teacher wondered, "What knife?" The teacher took a breath. "An armorist's talent combat skill, which appears with his spiritual beast. When the knife is drawn, it will not return until it drinks blood. Before it drinks blood, it is invincible." At this moment, on the waves, Zhang Xuanyu's rod had already collided with Hu Karen's cold flame. To everyone's horror, the cold flame, which was said to be able to freeze people into ice cubes, was pierced in half by this rod and couldn't get close to Zhang Xuanyu at all. Sun Feiyu's face was very gloomy. "Phantom, doppelganger." Xia Shaochan giggled. Xia Shaochan giggled. "Doppelganger? Wait until you have the ability to use doppelganger." Shadowless blade. In the next second, the dozens of doppelgangers that Sun Feiyu created were all cut into pieces by the blade that suddenly appeared beside him before they had time to help their companions. The teacher of the First Academy was shocked. Shadowless blade, the shadowless blade that can break space? The Thug Eliminator team was a little stunned. What kind of divine combat skill is this? None of them had ever appeared before. Luo Xiaobai raised her left hand and pointed at Lin Miao. Deep blue, hating. The ground was shaking, petals were falling in the sky, and a huge lotus-like blue flower on the ground opened its huge mouth and swallowed Lin Miao in one bite. Yang Zhao's eyes were bloodshot. "Thunder chain." Just as he shouted this, a half-arc water wall that was several meters wide and several meters thick appeared within a range of 10 meters around Yang Zhao. At this moment, this water wall was entwined with electric currents. Han Fei stepped forward step by step and stepped into the water wall, letting the electric currents flash on him. Then he stepped out of the water wall, and electric currents flashed between his fingers. "Are you kidding me? Can the electric spirit jellyfish compare to the real ninth heaven thunder?" And Yang Xiao, a spirit gatherer without anyone's protection, didn't even need to use any skills in front of Han Fei. Bim! Hu Karen vomited blood but didn't fly away. She was pierced. A rod passed through her lower abdomen and nailed her to the ground. Bim, tim, tim. In everyone's shocked eyes, all of Lu Abai's weapons were completely vulnerable in front of the bloodthirsty broadsword. Like a piece of paper, they were torn apart. In the end, even Lu Abai's armor box was shattered. Lu Abai was pierced and knelt on the ground. On the ground. It was unimaginable how strong this power was to have such a terrible destructive power. Sun Feiyu had countless clones, but as soon as he appeared, he was instantly cut. In just a few seconds, he was already covered in blood. He couldn't hide it all. Yang Xiao had 2 knives inserted into his shoulders at this moment. Han Fei stood in front of him with a smile. He thought that Yang Xiao, as the captain, must have special abilities, but he didn't. Han Fei's fighting passion suddenly disappeared without a trace. The Blue Sea Arena, which could accommodate 50,000 people, was silent at this moment. Xia Shaochan withdrew her knives. Sun Feiyu's figure fell from the sky, and no one came to his rescue. He fell heavily to the ground, covered in blood. Hu Karen was nailed to the ground. Lu Abai knelt on the ground, covering his wound and gasping for breath. Lin Miao had fainted. Yang Xiao lay on his back on the ground. Han Fei's hands flashed with electric arcs, but it didn't affect his movements at all. He easily pulled out his twin sabers and wiped off the blood on them. At this moment, The 5 members of the Thug Legend raised their heads and looked at the audience in the arena. Clap, 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 howl, thugs, 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 legend, 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 invincible, invincible. The huge arena once again went crazy. Countless people screamed at the top of their lungs. All the teachers and students of the 3 academies got up. Especially the teacher of the 3rd academy, who said that they wouldn't fight, had a cold sweat on his back. Fortunately, they didn't fight. Fortunately, what kind of monsters are they? Are they really 5 junior great fishing masters? These are 5 peak-level great fishing masters, right? The people of the 2nd academy all swallowed. However, then they gloated at the 1st academy. The teacher of the 1st academy clenched his fists. They were too strong as the top 100. Was the 4th academy so strong? The arrogant student of the 1st academy said solemnly, the 2nd echelon can't stop them. In the 100th game, I will fight in person. Our team members must be in the top 100, preferably the top 50. He Xiaoyu and the others were completely dumbfounded. They all swallowed. They remembered Luo Xiaobai's words and Xia Xiaochan's words. Ordinary people couldn't come in. God of fishing. If you want to talk about God of fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 169. This competition shattered the confidence of countless people. The host was incoherent. Too strong, too strong. Luo Xiaobai took a step forward and looked at the place where the 3 academies were sitting. Today, the Thug Academy accepts the challenge of all teams under the level of Dangling Fisher. At the same time, we accept the challenge of all the strong teams under the level of Dangling Fisher in the entire Blue Sea Town. Fight. Han Fei also took a step forward. Whoever defeats our Thug Legend team, I will personally give each of you 10,000 mid-quality pearls. Wow. At this time, no one mentioned the name of Yang Zhao's Riot Eliminator team. Everyone who was watching this battle was excited. Their blood was boiling. Bao Jin covered his chest, his eyes horrified, and said in a hurry, they're back, they're really back. The Legendary Academy is back. At the scene, the teams that had promised to participate in the competition all withdrew at this moment. When would they retreat if not now? Why fight? Could he win this fight? These weren't 5 kids at all. They were really 5 thugs. Wild, violent thugs who killed people like they were slaughtering fish. Could they get 10,000 mid-quality pearls? They were not fools. The intermediate great fishing master team withdrew one after another. They didn't want to fight anymore, even if they gave them money. Why did they still fight when they knew they couldn't win? But those advanced great fishing masters and even peak-level great fishing masters went crazy. They thought they could give it a try. Although they might be suspected of bullying the weak, they could get money. As a result, the registration booth was packed to the brim. Bao Jin rushed to the registration office and shouted, everyone listen to me, form a team and come again. If you're weak, don't sign up. We only want the strong, do you hear me? As long as the strong. The boy from the 1st academy looked cold. Provocation? 10,000 mid-quality pearls per person? What a generous offer. The boy said to the teacher next to him, I'm going back to choose people. I'll fight the last game of their 100-game winning streak. In a corner of this arena, there were 3 masked guys hiding here stealthily. When Renyu asked, Old Bai, aren't these little guys a bit too much? Xiao Zhan smiled. This is a manifestation of strength. If a person is strong but not known, what's the point of his strength? Loyalty? Old Bai nodded. Luo Xiaobai and Han Fei's words stimulated too many people. They would need to be careful in the following battles. This was no longer a competition between people of the same level. This was skipping levels. In the last few games, the teams will definitely be peak-level great fishing masters. When Renyu asked, will it be very difficult for them to fight against peak-level great fishing masters? Xiao Zhan grinned. Not necessarily. These little fellows were very strong. I had no doubt that they would be able to kill a dangling fisher if they used their life-saving combat skills. No matter how strong a great fishing master is, there's still a huge gap between him and a dangling fisher. Old Bai continued, the top 100 teenagers should be coming out soon. The last 50 battles were the time for them to crazily gain battle experience. Xiao Zhan, when you return, tell them to control themselves and only allow them to use 70% of their strength. Unless we meet an opponent we can't handle. Xiao Zhan was surprised. 70%? Fight high-level players? Old Bai said with a smile, if you squeeze it to the extreme, the training effect will be better. The news spread throughout the Blue Sea town that the 4th Academy had risen. The 5 teenagers declared war on all the experts below the dangling fisher level in the entire Blue Sea town. Xiaoyu walked all the way and heard people talking all the way. Wang Baiyu smiled bitterly. I used to think that Tanggu was the #1 genius in our heavenly water village. After all, he was chosen by an angel and brought directly to the city. But now, I'm a little uncertain. Did Han Fei really become what he is today because of the resources given by Tanggu? Xia Wushuang sneered. Of course not. Think about it, what resources can make you so strong? How long has it been? We've been in the Blue Sea town for less than a year, and Han Fei has been in the Blue Sea town for less than 2 months, but he has already declared war on peak-level great fishing masters. He Xiaoyu suddenly took a deep breath and said, I've decided. Everyone? He Xiaoyu declared, I choose to be a hunter. Everyone, Xiang Nan exclaimed, Hey! Xiaoyu, don't be irritated. Xia Xiaochan's spiritual beast is a shadow shrimp. Your little red is more suitable for a soul warrior. He Xiaoyu added, No, don't forget the speed of little red. He Xiaoyu was extremely serious. Too strong. She was the one who taught Han Fei the sweeping stick. At that time, Han Fei was beaten to a pulp by her. But now Han Fei just stood there motionless. Even if she wanted to hit him, she couldn't. How strong was Yang Zhao's electric spirit jellyfish? She knew it very well. But Han Fei just ignored it. And Zhang Xuanyu, who was terrifyingly strong. Could the soul warrior she chose be stronger than these two? He Xiaoyu thought it was impossible, but she had the talent of a hunter. Little Red, incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. Now that she thought about it, this method could make her physique stronger and make her body more agile. With Little Red, the hunter seemed to be better than the soul warrior. Today's game was suspended. The Blue Sea Arena issued an urgent notice, seeking top masters below dangling fishers at a high price. Intermediate great fishing masters were not accepted at all. They had to be at least advanced great fishing masters with exotic spiritual beasts. Fish Dragon Hot Pot Restaurant. Lu Renquang stuffed food into his mouth. Damn it. I thought she was very strong. And she asked us to fight her with all our strength? Zhang Xuanyu hesitated. Should I go to apologize to the little girl? Why does a girl want to be a soul warrior? No. Can anyone accompany me to the 1st Academy later? Han Fei said contemptuously, Hey. We are fighting. Don't try to pick up girls, okay? Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. I feel guilty. Han Fei winked. Then when we win 100 consecutive victories, I will go with you. Zhang Xuanyu asked, Really? Han Fei nodded solemnly. To your happiness, cheers. Xia Xiaochan sneered. Ha, are you going to find another girl? Luo Xiaobai asked, Han Fei, is the power of thunder ineffective on you now? Han Fei chuckled. That's not the power of thunder. You can resist it if you go. He just paralyzes your body with a momentary electric current. You just need to suppress it with spiritual energy. After a while, Li Gang personally grilled some barbecue. Li Gang praised, Young master, you're awesome today. Han Fei said proudly, You're all awesome. Yes, young masters and young ladies are all awesome. Li Gang was shocked. He had no idea that a year ago he was still a gangster, eating sea melon seeds every day and collecting protection fees everywhere. But now, he had become the boss of the fish dragons. Luo Xiaobai said, Hurry up and eat. Go back to cultivate after eating. Han Fei and the others were eating hot pot happily, but they didn't know that in the residence of the mayor of the Blue Sea town, Old Bai was sitting here lazily. In addition to Old Bai, the presidents and deputy presidents of the other 3 academies were all here. Old Bai continued, the 4-year period is up and the top 100 competition is about to begin again. Our Thug Academy has been silent for more than 30 years. Are we qualified to participate this time? The president of the 2nd Academy scoffed. Have you participated in previous years? There were no signs of your 4th Academy at all 8 times. Now you think you can come just because you say you want to? The president of the 1st Academy asked. Old Bai, there are only 5 little guys in your academy, right? How can a 5-person academy be called an academy? Old Bai sneered. So what if there are only 5 people? Didn't the 5 of them beat your 1st academy to a pulp? Even if there is only 1 person in our Thug Academy, our Thug Academy still exists. What? Do you think we only have 5 students? Do you believe that we can defeat your 1st academy? The president of the 1st Academy asked. Defeat the 1st Academy? In their current state? Old Bai said disdainfully, in their current state, they can still win. The people from our Thug Academy have never lost, not more than 30 years ago, and not now. The president of the 2nd Academy sneered. Won't lose? Then why did you decline in the past? The geniuses of your school either died, fled, or ran away. You call this won't lose? Old Bai's face darkened. Su Tianji, are you provoking me? Believe it or not, I can beat you up even if the 3 of you come at me together. 2 old men and an old woman blushed and couldn't wait to pounce on him. Unfortunately, the 3 of them still had some self-awareness. Bai Kongyi was also a big shot in the past. Even the 3 of them plus the mayor couldn't beat this guy, let alone the 3 of them. The mayor said, all right, I agree to this. The faces of the presidents changed slightly. The mayor waved his hand. Otherwise, what do you want? Since the 4th Academy has come out, it is qualified. After all, the 4th Academy has not been abolished. If you don't give it to them, aren't you afraid that those 5 little monsters will smash your 3 academies? Su Tianji scoffed. But they have to be able to do it. Old Bai asked, you mean, as long as my students can smash your academies, you will agree? Humph. God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 170. As soon as the 5 of them returned to school, they saw Old Bai passing by with his hands clasped behind his back. Han Fei saw a jade slip flying towards him. He caught it in a daze, his face full of question marks. Old Bai said leisurely, your strength is improving too slowly. If you really encounter a peak-level great fishing master, you will be easily injured. Han Fei, learn the healing technique. As a spirit gatherer, don't you even learn the healing technique? Han Fei was speechless. I don't have time. Old Bai snorted. Huh? You have time to eat hot pot, but you don't have time to cultivate? Look at you, you are only junior great fishing masters. Look at them, there are a lot of intermediate great fishing masters and advanced great fishing masters. Are you ashamed of yourself? Everyone? After Old Bai left, Zhang Xuanyu touched his head. Is President Luo Xiaoming irritated? Lu Renkuang wondered. Not slow. We have a good foundation. Luo Xiaobai said calmly, listen to President Luo and cultivate quickly. We should not be far from the bottleneck of a junior great fishing master. The arena's 100-game winning streak may be to prepare for the brocade sachets later. Han Fei looked at the jade slip in his hand. Really? Why does it feel so weird? At this time, the healing spell was given to them. Did it mean that they would be injured in the near future? Han Fei said thoughtfully, then I'm going to cultivate on the mountain. Everyone stopped and Lu Renkuang pulled Han Fei. No, you can cultivate in the treehouse. Zhang Xuanyu looked strange. If you can't, we can cultivate in a cave. If you are struck by lightning again, no one will save you. Han Fei walked to the treehouse with his head held high, murmuring, that day I stood on the top of the mountain, pointed to the sky and said, "I am not handsome." Then, thunder fell from the sky, and the Tao roared. The rolling thunder said to me, "You liar." "Everyone," Luo Xiaobai said with a black face, "hurry up and learn the healing technique. If everything goes well, we will have a hard time in the last few games." Just when Luo Xiaobai said this, Xiao Zhan appeared again. "Given that you have been fighting in the arena, from today on, you can only use 70% of your strength. Don't use it until the critical moment." After saying that, Xiao Zhan wobbled away, leaving a few people in a state of confusion. Lu Renquang was dumbfounded. Is the elder going to heal Han Fei? Zhang Xuanyu took a deep breath. "I have a bad feeling." Xia Shaochan frowned. 70%? It's barely enough. Han Fei held the little jade slip and kissed it. Spirit gatherer is really a good profession. In the future, let me comfort your broken hearts. Everyone? Xia Shaochan raised her knife and slashed at him. Go to hell and cultivate. Han Fei was forced to run away. In the treehouse, he carefully read the contents of the jade slip. Healing seemed to be more difficult than water manipulation. Radiance of spiritual energy? Taking the radiance instead of spiritual energy? Han Fei was stunned. After blinking his eyes, a string of data appeared. Healing, spirit level high quality. Note, spiritual chi has a glow, which is called healing divine light. The divine splendor connected with spiritual energy to nourish billions of living beings and give all living beings the foundation to revive. Deducing the divine healing technique consumed 100,000 points of spiritual energy. Do you want to deduce? Han Fei seemed to have long been accustomed to the price of the demon purification pot. However, 100,000 points of spiritual energy was not much. Compared with the 4th level of void fishing that required 10 million points of spiritual energy to deduce, it was simply too cheap. Deduce. At this moment, Xia Shaochan stuck her head out of the treehouse, full of curiosity. Why is there such a strong spiritual energy? Luo Xiaobai glared at her. Shaochan, don't disturb his cultivation. Xia Shaochan snorted. The next morning, everyone found that Han Fei was missing. When they found him, they saw that he was holding a dagger to hurt himself. Zhang Xuanyu rubbed his hands and sneered. Oh Fei, what are you doing? Do you want me to help you? Han Fei smiled strangely. Then come and stab me. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. He had never heard such an unreasonable request since he was a child. Stab me? Anyway, you can't stab me to death. I like it. However, when Zhang Xuanyu was about to take the dagger, he was cut by Han Fei. A big cut appeared on his arm. Oh, despicable, shameless, Han Fei chuckled. Don't you know how to guard against fire, theft, and teammates? Don't move. A flickering light flashed in Han Fei's hand. He tried to shake it several times but failed to do so. Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. Can you do it? If you can't, you can practice it slowly. Don't come out to harm others without being skilled. In the end, Han Fei could only press his palm on Zhang Xuanyu's arm and it took him a few minutes to heal the wound. Luo Xiaobai asked curiously, it took 30 minutes for the wound to be completely healed. This speed is a bit slow. It seems that I have to practice more. Han Fei said mischievously, oh, when I master it, I'll turn you into a goddess with a ray of light. Han Fei curled his lips. I learned it in one night. Are you looking down on me because I'm too slow? Bai Kongyi squatted in the grass in the distance, deep in thought. Is this the healing technique? Isn't the healing technique similar to the spirit gathering technique? The light entered his body like silk, but what is this large expanse of light? Blue Sea Arena. Since Han Fei's team defeated the First Academy, the Thug Legend team of 5 seemed to have suddenly become much weaker. Some people speculated that it was because the enemies had become stronger, and now those who dared to participate in the competition were all advanced great fishing masters. On the first day, they fought 3 games in a row. Zhang Xuanyu and Luo Xiaobai were both injured and they won by a narrow margin. It was not that they were not strong, but after their strength was suppressed, they had to be careful in both the output of spiritual energy and the use of moves. The next day, they fought 2 more games. Zhang Xuanyu, Luo Xiaobai, and Lu Renkuang were all injured, and they also won by a narrow margin. On the 5th day, the Thug Legend won the 68th game in a row. Xia Xiaochan was injured because she met 2 peak-level great fishing masters. On this day, the Thug Legend only fought 1 game. On the 10th day, the Thug Legend won the 82nd game in a row. Except for Han Fei, all the members were injured. Among them, Zhang Xuanyu and Luo Xiaobai were the most seriously injured, and their internal organs were somewhat damaged. Zhang Xuanyu wailed, be gentle, it hurts." Han Fei, can your half-baked healing technique work? At this moment, Han Fei's healing technique was like rain, sprinkling light all over the place. The light sprinkled on the wound, making it painful and itchy. The others suffered a lot. They couldn't wait to make Han Fei smarter so that he could learn healing techniques as soon as possible. However, they didn't know that their recovery the next day was actually also related to this half-baked healing technique. According to common sense, ordinary healing techniques were not so strong. On this day, Xiao Zhan appeared and glanced at the others. Except for Han Fei, the others can use 80% of their combat power. Half a month later, the Thug Legend won 88 games in a row. Yes, 5 days had passed and they had fought 6 games. Although they won all the games except for Han Fei, the others were also injured every day. But the harvest in these 5 days could be said to be rich. Luo Xiaobai and Lu Renkuang both became intermediate great fishing masters, and Zhang Xuanyu improved a little. 26 days later, the Thug Legend won the 99th game in a row. Han Fei was injured once during this period, but it was not serious and he was allowed to use 80% of his strength. The others all used 90% of their strength. Zhang Xuanyu broke through to the peak-level junior great fishing master. This speed of progress was amazing. Of course, during this period, Zhang Xuanyu healed the most injuries. His injury rate directly improved Han Fei's divine healing technique by leaps and bounds. At this moment, as long as he waved his hand, a ray of light would fall on Zhang Xuanyu's body. It would only take less than 2 minutes. The external injuries would be healed and the internal injuries would take longer. Depending on the severity of the injury, the longest would be 2 hours, and the shortest would only be half an incense's time. Zhang Xuanyu shook his arm. It's the last game. Can we use our full strength? Luo Xiaobai hesitated. Looking at the opponents, I feel that this game will not be easy. To be safe, Lu Renkuang and I will use our full strength. Xiaochun, 90%, and Han Fei, 80%. Han Fei said indifferently, anyway, it's the last game. If it's necessary, use your full strength. If it's a matter of life and death, use your life-saving combat skills. After all, you'll have to use them. Xia Xiaochan said, you haven't learned your own life-saving combat skills yet. You're too slow. Han Fei chuckled. After this game, I'll go find some materials and make some knives. I'll definitely practice the million knife art. On this day, in the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant, everything was half price, celebrating the 100th battle of the Thug Legend. The contents of this chapter are mobile update on this day. The Blue Sea Arena was so crowded that even the walkways were full of people. It was also the same day. Thousands of students from the 3 academies rushed to the Blue Sea Arena, waiting for the Thug Legend's 100-game winning streak to be broken. Once this 100-game winning streak was broken, he would have to start all over again. But was it really that easy to start from scratch? Once they lost this match, the 100-game winning streak would lose its meaning. Luo Xiaobai said, you can't lose this game. We already know the information about the other party. They are a perfect team, 2 peak-level great fishing masters, 3 advanced great fishing masters, and all of them are in the top 100 of the 3 academies. If we can't defeat them, go all out. If you want to talk about Fishing God with more like-minded people, follow UA Literature on WeChat to chat about life and find bosom friends. Read too. Chapter 171. When the players of both sides stood on the field, the cheers were like waves. Watermark advertisement test. The ordinary audience didn't know about the watermark advertisement test, but the students of the 3 academies were shocked. Oh my god! Su Yebai, who ranks 8th on the top 100 list, is said to have slaughtered an entire team alone. He explored a certain underwater relic alone and came back. He Xiaoyu and the others turned pale. How could the opponent of the 100th game be so strong? Xia Wushuang exclaimed, Su Yebai is the captain. But Qin Yu, is she here too? Chen Qing and the others were not from the first academy, so they couldn't help asking, who is Qin Yu? Wang Baiyu explained, she is a hunter ranked 33rd on the top 100 list. She is very strong and a violent player like Xia Xiaochan. He Xiaoyu pointed to another person. Not only Qin Yu, but Xia Shan is also here. He ranks 41st on the top 100 list. Xiangnan followed He Xiaoyu's gaze. That thin man, is he an armorist? He Xiaoyu replied, no, he is a soul warrior. Xiangnan and the others were shocked. He is so thin. Is he a soul warrior? He Xiaoyu said enviously, it is said that he is a natural soul warrior. His spiritual beast is a red sea swordwing fish and his whole body is made of knives. He also has another name in the first academy. Saber King. In the stands, in a mess of exclamations, the background of the other two people was revealed. One was the armorist Zhou Yu, ranked 49th on the top 100 list. The other was Yun Qi, who was also a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior, ranked 69th on the top 100 list. In the field, Luo Xiaobai frowned. Let me try Su Yebai. Xiaochan, the other party's hunter is yours. Xia Xiaochan shook her ponytail. Leave it to me. So what if he is ranked 33rd on the top 100 list? Do you really regard the top 100 list as a standard of strength? Han Fei curled his lips. I don't know where he found a spirit gatherer who is the same as me. He is also a soul warrior. He doesn't seem to be weak. Don't underestimate the opponent. Don't forget, the opponent is an advanced fishing master. Han Fei smiled. I walk my own path, and when others walk, I beat them. When others keep walking, I keep beating them. Everyone, Zhang Xuanyu was sweating a little. The soul warrior on the other side is very strong. I don't have time to care about you. Leave this person to me, I don't have time to help you. Lu Renquang was unusually serious. This time, I'll stay with Xiaobai. When the atmosphere was heated up to a certain extent, the host shouted, the competition begins. Fuse. At the first moment, everyone chose to fuse, except for two people who didn't. One of them was Su Yebai. He summoned a spider that was 7 to 8 meters long. Countless people at the scene gasped. Eternal night black spider? At the same time, a large blue flower rose from the ground. Although it had fused with Luo Xiaobai, the blue phantom was still solid. The captains of both sides revealed their spiritual beasts as soon as the battle began. Just this scene alone caused many people's hearts to ripple. They had never seen these exotic spiritual beasts before. Before either team could make a move, the ground cracked. Tens of thousands of vines intertwined with the extremely imperceptible spider silk. Before anyone could move, a large number of vines were shredded and a large number of spider webs were destroyed. The leader of the first academy, Su Yebai, smirked. In the next moment, a huge net covered the entire arena and fell from the sky. Shadowless blade. Xia Xiaochan took action. In an instant, countless flickering shadow blades appeared around the big net and the huge net was cut into pieces in the blink of an eye. Qin Yu, the hunter on the opposite side, glanced at Xia Xiaochan. I wonder which is stronger, your shadow shrimp or my ghost shrimp? As she spoke, Qin Yu turned into a ghost that was visible to the naked eye, floating in the air and heading straight for Xia Xiaochan. When the blade swept past her, everyone was shocked to find that the blade passed through Qin Yu's body and couldn't hurt her at all. Shadow entanglement. Xia Xiaochan turned into a shadow unhurriedly. Instead of attacking Qin Yu, she shot hundreds of shadow blades at Qin Yu's shadow. Qin Yu's face changed slightly, but her ghost-like body suddenly grabbed at Xia Xiaochan. Instead of grabbing Xia Xiaochan's shadow, she seemed to be grabbing Xia Xiaochan's soul. Like a ghost. Xia Shan, the meat shield of the first academy, grinned hideously. You seem to be much stronger than I thought. However, Don't you think a junior great fishing master can stop me? Aren't you too naive? Xie Shan roared, and countless sword thorns grew out of his body. Around his body, there were also hundreds of small swords floating. Zhang Xuanyu showed a rare solemn look. Han Fei. A spirit-gathering array suddenly appeared under Han Fei's feet, and billowing spiritual energy poured into Zhang Xuanyu's body. The latter roared and a raging wave came. Zhang Xuanyu stood on the wave and a scarlet shark 7 or 8 meters long appeared. Its sharp teeth and ferocious face scared many spectators. Someone was surprised. What kind of spiritual beast is this? Why haven't I seen Zhang Xuanyu use it before? Of course, he met his match, didn't he? If he doesn't use his ultimate move, he'll die. Zhang Xuanyu raised his rod from the seawater, and a big rod tens of meters long rose into the sky and smashed down rapidly. This kind of open battle, this kind of visual effect far surpassed Xie Shan's. However, when the first blow fell, hundreds of sword blades gathered and rotated, and the big rod tens of meters long was smashed. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "Spiritual explosion." As soon as he shouted, spider silk came from all directions. Luo Xiaobai immediately helped Zhang Xuanyu block it. However, the spider's silk penetrated the vines. Han Fei's double knives flew out. Spinning blade. The two knives quickly spun around and cut off the spider silk. The opponent's spirit gatherer, Yun Qi, sneered. "How dare you distract yourself to help your teammates in front of me?" Flaming ray. Han Fei remembered that Yun Qi's spiritual beast was a fire krill, which was a bit similar to He Xiaoyu's little red sparrow. However, it seemed to be much stronger than He Xiaoyu in terms of attack power. Suddenly, flames began to spread on the intricate spider silk. As a result, a strange scene appeared in the entire arena. Thousands of flame spider silk frantically strangled the blue vines. Han Fei rushed directly to the opponent's camp, and the seven-star chain behind him swept, shattering all the obstacles along the way. Xian Wu battlesuit. As the opponent's armorist took action, the 5 opponents were covered with a layer of armor at the same time. Han Fei even had time to glance at Lu Renkuang. "Look at them, they have armor. Look at you, why don't you even let us wear armor?" Lu Renkuang was helpless. "I don't have armor either. But I have berserk." Then, Lu Renkuang shouted, "Berserk war body, armor cover." A layer of golden light burst out from the 5 of them at the same time. At this moment, the battle between the 5 of them seemed to be strengthened. On the other side, between Xia Shaochan and Qin Yu, one was a ghost and the other was a shadow, and no one could hurt the other. Once there was a fatal blow, the 2 of them would either become shadows or ghosts. And the first blow of Zhang Xuanyu and Xie Shan directly shattered the area within a radius of tens of meters. A big pit was left at the point of collision, and Zhang Xuanyu was sent flying backward and caught by vines. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth and his hand was torn. As soon as the battle began, the entire arena was covered by all kinds of combat skills. The whole arena was burning, raging waves were rolling, light and shadow were competing, and vines and spider silk were strangling each other. Lu Renkuang shouted, "Bloodthirsty broadsword." Lu Renkuang slashed his broadsword at Su Yebai, the captain of the First Academy. The opponent's armorist was annoyed. "Do I not exist?" Xian Wu divine shield. Rumble, Lu Renkuang was shocked. The bloodthirsty broadsword was blocked again. He immediately vomited a mouthful of blood. It was not a joke that a broadsword must drink blood. If he didn't drink blood, he would have to bear the backlash. And Zhou Yu's face was also dark. 3 cracks appeared on the Xian Wu divine shield. His weapon was damaged, and he himself was injured. Zhou Yu also vomited a mouthful of blood. 2 draws and 1 loss in the first confrontation, which showed how strong the team of the First Academy was. Han Fei sent a stream of spiritual energy into Lu Renkuang's body, and Su Yebai also sent a stream of spiritual energy into Zhou Yu's body. Han Fei chuckled. "Are you sure you'll let me in?" Han Fei had already passed the crowd and rushed into the enemy's side. Yun Qi sneered. "You won't be able to return." Retreat. Yun Qi, Zhou Yu, Qin Yu, and Xie Shan were suddenly pulled out of the battle. In midair, the four suddenly burst out with all their strength and rushed at Han Fei. The god of fishing. If you want to talk about fishing god with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat to chat about life and find confidence. Read too. That you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.